Everybody, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney number 2. Here we are at pretty much the climax of the third case. And supposedly, we're about to open Pandora's box once the professor's identity is going to be revealed, I'm guessing. But yeah, last time was just a cavalcade of more info, and just the mystery goes even deeper, and we had a really cool anti-gravity deduction. That was very awesome. And we left off on a little bit of a cliffhanger for this testimony. So I do apologize if I'm a little out of the loop. It has been a day and night. So, we'll get back into the swing pretty quick, I think. All right. Well, I got nothing else to really say. So I'm going to grab out a little drink. A little Coca-Cola no sugar to give me the strength to open this Pandora's box. And I guess we'll see what's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who it is. My concept, my idea, my theory that I had was that it could be Van Zeke's brother. And he was just supposedly killed, and it was a cover-up, so it didn't tarnish the Van Zeke's name. That's my guess. Perhaps. But, we'll see. We'll see what goes on. And who it really is, because I've been very wrong before, but I like being wrong. I like just theorizing and getting those crazy ideas out. It's not all about being right. It's about having fun. All right, well, that's enough yapping. Crack this open. Let's do it. Let's do it! The reason I was in Nogate Cemetery all those years ago was for a spot of moonlighting, shall we say. Yes, the illustration in that newspaper article is based on what I witnessed that night. But thinking back now, I realized that I never actually saw the professor. Soon afterwards, I was visited by a young woman who sculpted a model of me from wax. Then I gave up on my dream of becoming a scientist, and it was all because of that newspaper article. Okay. Bro gave up on his dream because of bad publicity? Alright. Wait a minute. Now you're claiming you didn't actually see the professor? Of course, you'd have to have a screw loose if you believed a corpse could come back from the dead. But, so you're saying this article is not worth the paper it's printed on? I think that would describe it perfectly, yes. If the details in the article aren't true, it nullifies your argument for why Mr. Drebber and Dr. Scythe would have been working together. I almost said Dr. Drebber again. I think it might be my dyslexia, perhaps. Undiagnosed, but I am 99% sure I have something. So he's discrediting himself to cripple my argument.
Tell me, witness, you claim to have been in the cemetery on some auxiliary business. Can you elaborate?
That's right, grave robbing to be precise. As you know, Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of the Barclay prison. So among students at the university, it had a reputation for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts.
Grave robbing, you say?
Yes, exhuming fresh corpses to sell is reasonably lucrative. Of course, I never laid a finger on any valuables buried with the dead.
So you're one of those so-called resurrectionists, a particularly unpleasant scourge on society.
Yeah, I'd almost prefer you take their valuables instead of, their corpses. The corpses is way more morbid than just taking, a pocket watch they were buried with. I don't know. Whatever, That's treasure hunting to a degree. They're not gonna miss that. Sure, it's still illegal, and, it's still bad, but I would prefer you just hunt for the lay treasures instead of lay corpses. Actually, my fellows and I went by another name, the Repurposers. You know, that sounds way worse than what Van Zeek's offered. That's just a way shittier pseudonym than, you know, the repurposers instead of, what did he say? The Resurrectionist. Resurrectionist sounds awesome.
Well, that is quite beyond the pale. You would invite divine retribution, sir.
Yes, well, I think I suffered retribution enough. The Daily Circus eventually unearthed my name and put it in print. It caused me a great many headaches. In the end, I had to leave the university. That was the only paper with the bad grace to identify me unambiguously, I might add. I see.
Out of interest, who drew the illustration for this article?
Yes, that was the reporter who exposed me. He sketched that right in front of me as I described the scene. Obviously, as time ticked on, I bitterly regretted what I'd done, claiming to have seen something I truly never saw. Foolish, very foolish.
Well, counsel for the defense. You may proceed to the cross-examination now.
At once, my lord. Okie dokie. I got my dog down here as well today, so he'll be snoozing. If you hear any, you know, snoring in the back, that's him. Hold it! By moonlighting, you mean grave robbing, do you? Surely, you need only look at the graveyard scene and my appearance to gauge the answer to that.
The lantern and the spade.
But who on earth would want to buy a dead body? Any major hospital? A hospital?! In order to better understand the human body, the study of anatomy is crucial at medical science. Oh, so there was no, like, option to, like, donate your body to science back here? I have that ticked on my card. But there isn't a hospital in the world that has enough specimens to work with. Though obviously they can't openly express an interest in obtaining more by dubious means. As aspiring scientists, we young research students had no money to work with, as I'm sure you can imagine. So we made surreptitious arrangements with the hospital via some of our medical student acquaintances. We would never take anything of value from the graves. This was all for the furtherance of science, you see. Okay, so that's how you want to spin it. Alright. That's what we told ourselves every time we stole into the graveyard at night, spade in hand.
You realize body snatching is a serious crime. If you were caught, you would expect the gravest of consequences.
We students were caught between the hammer and the anvil. We needed funds for research.
I'm quite speechless at the apparent levity with which you've revealed this abhorrent behavior.
Well, if you wanted to know why I was there at Lowgate Cemetery, that's the reason. But I never expected it to end the way it did. That I regret to this day. Yes, the illustration in that. Hold it! The strange happening at Lowgate Cemetery, which you now deny. Not entirely. I did run to fetch the police at the time. You know, I was shaking like a leaf. But they didn't believe a word of it. In fact, I was very nearly arrested myself. So you went to the papers instead. I started big with the London News, but unsurprisingly, they didn't want to know either. In the end, though, it was the reporters from the gossip rags, the gutter press, that came to get my story. And it spread like the plague through the capital as gossip-hungry Londoners lapped up the tale.
The story was in every single paper at the time, with the exception of some broadsheets.
And yet only 2 or 3 of them actually interviewed me personally. Most of the accounts turned out to be very interpretive ghost stories. What about the article in the Daily Circus?
That particular journalist found me at my dormitory. I don't know how, but he discovered my name. So I recounted to him exactly what had happened that night.
And from your description, he drew this illustration.
Precisely. That's how I learned that the condemned man was the infamous professor. Because the reporter told me so, I had no idea myself, you see. Newspaper reporters are wont to snoop around in matters that don't concern them. So the scene portrayed in the illustration is accurate, then?
Well...
Hold it!
What are you talking about?
I think I explained already, didn't I? Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. So it was renowned among students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. For some absurd reason, I was scared of the graveyard at night. And as a result, only too willing to believe that nonsense about the dead coming back to life.
But you said you actually saw it.
I said what I'd seen in my mind's eye. After all, resurrection is impossible, isn't it? You'd have to be unhinged to think otherwise. Unless, of course, you have some evidence that proves I encountered the professor that night.
I don't know. Is there any material evidence that could show he really did see the professor? If we have anything at all, Mr. Naruhodo. I know. I need to present it against that irritatingly backtracking statement of his. Never saw the professor at all, huh? Lost cat! No, that better not be Waggy. Perfect print of the engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber. It's hard to make out, but he appears to be wearing a monocle with glasses. Uh-huh. Oh yeah, what about the camera?
Objection!
Ah. He was bringing a camera with him, which was interesting. But we don't actually have the picture. The Great Stink. Wait, we can actually read the Great Stink now. Parliament is to finally address the foul issue. After a great many years, Parliament has, at long last, resolved to relieve the citizens of London of the horrifying stench that carries on the slightest breeze and lingers in the nostrils of every man, woman, and child. A great sewer system to be built underfoot will divert... Oh. Divert fecal. Yo, divert fecal. Yeah! I found it! I found the poo-poo reference. I found it. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Let's check the camera again. Is there anything we didn't check? Any spot? I mean, this obviously isn't the same camera, but it does prove that he had a camera that night.
Hold it!
That young woman being Madame Tussples, of course. Precisely. I must say, I didn't expect to run into her again like this 10 years later.
As I have explained, I went by the name published in the article and, comme ça, I found the man.
Yeah, the article in the Daily Circus, I think you said. I was a poor student with barely a penny to my name at the time. And the young lady put £5 in front of me.
So you readily consented to having your waxwork of yourself made and gave permission for it to be on display. I did. I should sell what little I had to sell, I concluded.
Ah, oui, I remember now. I purchased something else from you that day, n'est-ce pas?
How old were you at this time? This was 10-ish years ago, maybe a little sooner. Cause she is only 26. So she would have been 16 when the event occurred. I guess that's, you know, a spunky young teen, up to no good. You know, running the shop, getting those exclusives, perhaps.
I purchased something else from you that day, n'est-ce pas?
The camera. The camera! Did she get the camera from him? I can't say. I remember. What was it, madam?
This camera.
Ah. Oh, yes, I made a point of taking it with me whenever I made an excursion into any cemetery. So it is the same camera.
You took a camera with you, sir. To what end? To record the details of the bodies I disinterred. But I had no intention of ever visiting a graveyard again after that night, so I sold it. I see.
But I still have it, monsieur. It's a part of the special exhibit in my House of Horrors. I'm very meticulous about such details. It is the Jasper's way. It would seem, then, that this is the very camera Mr. Drebber took with him to Lowgate Cemetery on the night in question.
Yes, interesting. Well, there we go. Shall I just throw it out there? No?
Okay.
I didn't get the change. Maybe I can examine it again then. Or I just have to press the last statement, I don't know. Okay.
Hold it!
This article, you mean, published in the Daily Circus?
Yes, somebody informed the dean that it was my name that appeared.
Hold on.
Grave cover is the young man who is seen was on the verge of a shriek. Next thing, a gunshot ran out and suddenly the bullet pierced the resurrected man's chest, whose breath stilled once more. Ethan finally released the scream he had in his life. University student who experienced this shocking event is Mr. Enoch Drebber, a disciple of science, University of London, and a resident of the student dorms.
Okay, I was hoping that maybe it would say, like, this is a recreation of the photo he took, and it's not actually a illustration. But of course it's not actually the photo, because it's in third person, but... Okay.
Yes, somebody informed the dean that it was my name that appeared in the article, and carelessly let slip that night after night I was digging up graves. Hardly a model student, you might say. The university's reputation was execrably defiled, and I was expelled as a result.
Mon Dieu, I had no idea.
And having been run out of university, you found employment in a somewhat specialist trade.
You combined your knowledge of science with knowledge of stage magic to create various experimental machines intended to demonstrate never-before-seen technology. And you used those deceptive machines to trick the government and private investors into giving you money. Professor Albert Harebrain was just your latest victim, wasn't he?
Whatever are you talking about? I have no recollection of doing anything of the sort. What's Trevor up to? Why would he suddenly change his tune and recant his claim?
I wonder if perhaps it's because his circumstances have changed now.
What circumstances?
Well, if he admits to having seen the professor emerging alive from his grave 10 years ago, it will expose a secret in Dr. Scythe's past that she would desperately want to hide.
Yes, of course. If Drebber and Dr. Scythe are working together now, then if Drebber were to betray her, there would be no reason for her to continue to cooperate. In that case, there's only a way around it. I'll have to prove he really did see it. Prove he really did see the professor's corpse coming back from the dead as he originally claimed.
Hold it!
Do I gotta press this one again? Like, do you have evidence? And then I can present the camera to that instead of objecting. I don't know. Is there any material evidence that could show he really did see the professor?
I mean, it's gotta be his camera, but there's nothing else left to check on it, right? Where's his ding dang? If we pull it out like that, will it stay out like that? And then there's the blood. Do we... Yeah, we've already seen the blood.
Objection!
No. Arr! I mean, it is kind of physical evidence. There's blood on it. It was based on what I witnessed. Is it just the paper again? Oh. Sorry, Mr. Dribber, but I don't believe that. Don't believe what? Your latest claim. You did see the professor on that night 10 years ago. Oh dear, we seem to be at odds. But I was there and you were not. I know what I didn't see. The illustration with this article was drawn up based upon what you told the journalist that you witnessed. A figure emerged from the tomb, wearing an iron mask. Yes, when the killer was tried 10 years ago, it was decided in the closed court's ruling that the man would wear the mask to hide his identity. It wasn't to be removed, even during his execution and subsequent burial. Not even the prison wardens were to see the man's face. But obviously, the provision of this mask was not public knowledge. You know who else the professor could be, I guess? It could be, Iris's dad, maybe. And that's how Sholmes is so intricately woven here. It could be Dr. John H. Wilson, and the one that we saw killed was just somebody else who took up the pseudonym, maybe. I don't know. That's just a random out there theory. I think Van Ziek's brother is still a better idea and like cool twist if he didn't actually die and they just covered it up to protect the Van Ziek's name, since he's from like his name means a lot. So, Mr. Drebber, as you've just heard, A lowly student of the University of London certainly wouldn't have known about the condemned man's mask. So, unless you'd actually seen the professor that night... Oh, that's a good point. I just was like, maybe it's that. That's a good point, that's a good point! It's inconceivable that the artist would have included the mask in the illustration.
Order, order! Well, Mr. Brimmer.
Is it too late to say I just guessed? It's a vile scene, isn't it, if you look closely? And as I've already been at pains to point out, I was utterly petrified, which is why I had it in my head that I'd seen such a blood-curdling sight. But afterwards, I came to my senses and realized that I'd been mistaken. You're still saying you didn't see it?
If you're stubbornly sticking to that story, witness, then amend your testimony to explain exactly how you think your eyes deceived you.
Of course. Only too happy to oblige.
Yeah, okay. So how did you guess that he had a metal helmet? And then it was proven that he had a metal helmet because that's what's on the fucking mannequin. Huh? It's sitting right there.
I can't believe he's still not going to concede the point.
Classic Ace Attorney villain. A fellow grave robber at work. Huh. Really? Is that true?
Hold it!
A fellow grave robber? What are you talking about?
Well, I wasn't the only one busy in the cemetery that night. You know, other body snatchers were at work. Of course, when I saw one emerging from the hole, he'd dug, my heart nearly very stopped. So that's the terrifying sight I actually saw, you see.
You're claiming it was just another student on equally salubrious business as yourself.
Many of the medical students would wear metal masks to protect them from bacteria during dissections. Clearly, the fellow was using such a mask to protect his anonymity. His anonymity. Yes, there we go.
Objection!
But there's more to the story, isn't there? The article goes on to say, in the next second, a gunshot rang out suddenly from behind. The bullet pierced the resurrected man's chest, whose breaths then stilled once more.
You might assume that the sexton discovered the miscreants at work, perhaps, and fired upon them?
If a gravedigger had shot someone in the cemetery, I think it might have been rather big news, my lord.
Oh, yes, well,
I can only assume it was an embellishment bolted on later by the reporter.
Excuse me!
Madam Tusples, don't take it out on Mr. Sholmes.
Ooh la la, pardon. I was lost in my thoughts.
Would it be fair to say that Mr. Drebber's last remark was significant to you in some way? Oops, I, straight up punched the microphone. I am so sorry.
I thought it was a little strange, that's all. How Monsieur Drebber could claim this now.
If you don't mind me saying, madam, what are you talking about?
Well, when I met you 10 years ago at your university dormitory.
Oh yeah, so she was 16 when she went to him.
You recounted to me about your adventures in the cemetery, no? Including the gunshot.
stop. You might want to watch your tongue, you know.
Objection!
Have a care, Drebber. That's not no way to speak to a lady.
Oh yeah, Van Zeeks knows. He knows.
Please, Madam Tusples, carry on.
Of course. Of course.
Of course.
According to what Monsieur Drebber told me at the time, he did hear a gunshot from behind him and the bullet hit the condemned man.
I said nothing of the sort.
No, you were very explicit in the details. About the mask that the figure was wearing. And the blood that spattered over you when he was shot.
Oh, we have the evidence of that. I found the evidence of that.
Enough. Shut up, woman. You're making this all up. That will do. No speaking to women that way in my court, Mr. Drebber. She's a queen, a MILF. You may not speak to her that way. Yes. You'll refute the account just given by Madame Tusples. I have no recollection of ever saying those things.
Come on! Do you really expect us to believe you?
Control yourself, Counsel. I will not permit baseless accusations in my courtroom. Right. Under the circumstances, I think it's best that you supplement your testimony with a statement to clarify your position on this witness. Very well.
I got that evidence for you, pal. Oh, no spattering of blood. Well, well, well. Finally, the camera is the evidence we need here. Mr. Drebber, do you remember this camera?
Well, that camera is from that fateful night.
Yes, we borrowed it from the House of Horrors. It's the camera you took with you to the cemetery that night, Mr. Drebber.
And is that supposed to be significant?
This kind of camera is rarely seen in our homeland, so my colleague and I were keen to examine it closely. We noticed that the lens extends forwards on the end of some bellows. Like this.
What's that? There, just on the bellows. It looks like a dark red stain.
That's right. It's a rather conspicuous mark here on the bellows, in fact.
Good lord, are you suggesting?
Yes, my lord. It would appear to be a spatter of blood.
Something that could be confirmed with a simple chemical test. Isn't that right, Dr. Scythe? It would be difficult to determine if it was human blood, and not blood from some animal. But yes, to test whether or not it's blood at all, it is simple enough.
I propose that Madame Tuspel's testimony was correct, and that on the night in question 10 years ago, you were spattered with blood from the gunshot wound.
Well,
And that furthermore, you really did witness the condemned professor emerging from his tomb! There's simply no way you could have forgotten such a traumatic experience. In other words, the only explanation is that you're trying to hide the fact that you saw the professor that night.
Objection!
but why? Why would he want to do that?
Well, not for his own gain, it would seem.
For whose, then? Who could benefit?
Mr. Drebber is obviously lying in order to protect somebody.
My goodness, he's shielding someone.
Yes, my lord, and clearly. It's someone who doesn't want the truth about the professor coming back to life to be exposed.
Well, Counsel, who is it then?
I like how they, it's so clear whenever one of these is, like, it's building up to the exact person that we've already stated and thought about. It's like, okay, like, you could just say it.
Take that!
The obvious answer is Dr. Scythe.
Scythe? Whatever do you mean?
Imagine if the convict who'd been sentenced to death was not in fact killed. Imagine if that was to come to light.
What are you insinuating?
And imagine if the convict in question was the country's most hated mass murderer. If it was the professor.
That would be an unprecedented scandal.
Objection!
It is beyond a joke. Need I point out that the dead cannot come back to life? What are you suggesting? It would mean that the execution never actually happened.
Yes, that's exactly what it would mean.
Objection!
Once a man is sent to the gallows, he hangs. No one could escape, not in Great Britain.
Objection!
But the fact is, there was a witness to the fact that the man did escape his hanging.
If that were really true, Counsel, the implications of misconduct would not stop at the supervising coroner. It would taint the honor of the entire judiciary from the ground up.
And it's exactly because of those monumental repercussions that Dr. Scythe would consent to any demand made of her by someone who threatened to expose the secret, even if that meant being complicit in a crime.
You mean?
I mean that Dr. Scythe wasn't collaborating in Mr. Drebber's wicked scheme. She was coerced into collaborating in order to protect her decade-old secret. She switched the dead body of Mr. Asmund with the waxwork model and fabricated the autopsy report. Oh shit, slut mode activated. Uh-oh.
Lord Van Zeeks. Pray forgive my freshly filled hollow chalice. And a whole raft of other discourtesies now. Goodness me. If just the sort of tall tale Londoners would enjoy, I grant you. An executed killer rising from the dead, a Scotland Yard cover-up, a conspiracy at the highest levels. So let me ask you one thing.
What's that?
If the condemned man really did emerge from his tomb that night, only to be shot in the chest, who pulled the trigger? And disposed of him forever?
Well, I have no idea at the moment.
We have too little information to work that out at the present, I think.
I couldn't agree more. Well, it would have to be somebody who knew or found out that he was dead. Or found out that he was still alive. I went back to finish it off.
The Old Bailey is no place for wild fantasies. And have you considered this, my learned Nipponese friend?
Considered what? Maybe Mr. Sholmes shot him. Because he was on the tail of the professor. And he was already sentenced to death, so I don't even think it would be illegal to, off him then, would it? If he's already been sentenced to it, then I think you'd have a right to put him down. Maybe not necessarily. Maybe there's a lot of misconduct there, but if he didn't get, killed in his sentence, Or maybe that was the first act of the Reaper.
To realize just what a dangerous endeavor it would be to coerce this woman into such criminal activity.
Yes. Quite. It's tantamount to declaring war on the British police force and judiciary. Quite. Hard to imagine any sum of money being offered if research could warrant it. To rely on some stage deception when so much is at stake would be madness.
Well, I suppose.
And this was no petty crime, either. The victim was murdered. A man who'd already invested money in the venture, and would be instrumental in future profits, too.
Dr. Scythe's glare is hot. Okay. Okay. That one?
Yes, I had no reason to kill Mr. Asmund at all. Or are you forgetting that his death results in me not receiving a single penny? The court is already aware of the contract between myself and the victim, no? There is the contract, it's very true.
The motive for this case runs deep, though. I can feel it.
Using threats to force the head of the forensic investigation team to cooperate is extreme. Especially for a government grant he had no guarantee of receiving in the first place.
If the research grant was the aim, taking Mr. Asmund's life would have made no sense anyway. Which means Mr. Drebber's motive wasn't money at all. He was just trying to kill Mr. Asmund. But why? What was his motive? Hey, Big Boss.
Your time is up, my learned friend. I'd say you have one last chance before the jury lose their patience with this charade. Let's see if you can back up your heady proposal, shall we?
Oh, I like how Cosmo just ducks. Should you level up Sadako or Vecna first? Well, Sadako's really hot, and I don't know who Vecna is, so you know who my vote's for.
At this point, I'm not prepared to listen to any more of this outlandish conjecture without proof. So, Counsel, present your evidence.
Right. Who exactly was Mr. Asmund to Drebber? It's a D&D villain? Well, of course I don't know her then. Yeah, Sadako's that's the ring girl, isn't it? The 7 days, the girl who comes out of the well. Listen, wood, okay?
Alright, listen. Maybe it's out of place, but I'm just saying.
There's a connection there that no one's seen yet. And I'm gonna have to present 2 pieces of evidence to show what it is. Yes, my lord. The evidence that establishes a motive and explains why the witness wanted the victim dead is right here. That? It's this newspaper article, my lord.
That was written 10 years ago, and every detail has been examined already. What can it possibly tell us? That drivel should never have been written. It's typical gutter press nonsense. It means nothing.
Yes, on its own, it isn't particularly significant. However, when considering alongside another piece of evidence, it will completely explain your motive for wanting Mr. Asmund dead. Oh, we just gotta prove that that's his signature? I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's his signature, but sure, okay. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Take that!
It's this contract, my lord. Mr. Drebber, this is the contract you signed with Mr. Asmund.
Yes, that's right. Very documented, in fact. That proves I had no reason to kill the man.
No, I'm afraid not.
What?
There's something very significant that this newspaper article and the contract have in common.
Really?
And it's that common link that shows very clearly why you were so determined to kill Mr. Odie Asmund.
Odiah's man. It seems the defense has uncovered something the rest of us have missed.
It's pretty obvious, too.
So, my learned friend, point out to what these 2 pieces of evidence have in common.
Boom, psh, ba boom,
Take that!
psh, boom, psh. What these 2 pieces of evidence have in common is a signature.
A signature?
The signature on the illustration that accompanies the 10-year-old article and the signature on the contract belong to the same person.
What?
As the court has heard, this illustration was drawn 10 years ago by the newspaper reporter who found Mr. Drebber and interviewed him about this ordeal. If you look closely, the reporter's signature can be seen at the bottom right of the drawing. And if you look at the contract here, which was signed between the witness and the victim last year, you can clearly see Mr. Asmund's signature at the bottom.
Let me see. Good Lord, yes, they're identical.
In short, the journalist who drew the illustration and wrote the article published about Mr. Drebber 10 years ago was the victim of this case, Mr. Odie Asmund. Okay.
Objection!
Get on the ground now.
He's been brought to his knees. But explain to the court why. Why would that constitute a motive for the witness to murder Mr. Asmund?
Well, if you think back, you'll remember that Mr. Drebber talked about that article in his testimony. Yeah, I must have used that clipboard trick. I was thinking about that.
You say it must be fraud. It must be fraud.
Yes, exhuming fresh corpses to sell is reasonably lucrative.
That is quite beyond the pale. Who would invite divine retribution, sir?
Yes, well, I think I suffered retribution enough.
At the time, you were a student of the University of London who dreamt of becoming a scientist. However, this single newspaper article changed your entire life.
So Mr. Asmund used to be a newspaper journalist, did he? He did, my lord. In fact, it's widely held belief that Mr. Asmund tried to manage to position himself at the heart of this criminal network, thanks to the many dubious connections he made during his time as a reporter.
So you had to give up on your dream and leave university. You lost everything. Eventually, you found yourself working in the field of science, but only in the shadows. And all because of that article. Written by Mr. Asmund.
Enough! Stop this endless drivel about my life.
What?
Explain yourself, Mr. Bremer! Yes, it's true I had to leave university as a result of that article. But it was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
What do you mean?
Almost every student of science in the faculty was too poor to actually conduct any research. But they struggled on their hypotheses anyway. We all did, only to have them taken by vultures. Sooner or later, you knew your ideas would be stolen and patented by some wretch or other after all. Good gracious. Making a name for yourself as a scientist in a climate like that was a miracle only a select few geniuses could ever hope to achieve. Personally, I wasn't one of those geniuses, so it was hardly a wrench. Being forced out of university because of Locate was the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Objection!
Mr. Drebber, do you genuinely believe that?
Of course I do. Who's better placed to know whether or not I possess a talent for science than me?
I'm sorry to say that your words don't ring true at all.
How dare you!
And I have evidence to prove it. Yo, you got your trophy, dog.
How are you in a position to say anything about me? I don't know you from Adam. Fine, if you think you have evidence, go ahead, show it. What could possibly disprove the idea that I was happy to leave university because I lacked talent?
Take that!
Do you remember this, Mr. Drebber? We found it at your workshop.
Is that a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science? What exactly is this trophy, Counsel?
It's the greatest honor that can be bestowed on a young scientist, my lord.
There's no higher accolade. It recognizes emerging talent and promises a bright future. Good gracious!
Your prospects for the future were excellent, weren't they, Mr. Drebber? Because even then, you were a genius in your field. But you lost everything. You had no more future. Your talents would go to waste. All as a result of this one newspaper article. I don't know when you realized who Mr. Asmund was, but when it dawned on you that he was the same journalist who 10 years ago ruined your life, it's abundantly clear that you had no intention of forgiving this man.
The truth is...
Finally, he's gonna fold. Renosuke, did you have to say that? You've definitely jinxed it. He's gonna like triple, quadruple, fucking sextuple down now. He might even kill himself like that other guy in that one Ace Attorney game, where we were just about to get the truth and then he kills himself and then the trial takes 40 more hours. We swallow that poison bottle. Hold it. Fine. Clearly this has run its course now.
What?
I admit it. All of it.
What? What are you doing?
It's exactly as the Japanese man said.
Couldn't you have said defense lawyer? Did you really have to emphasize that?
I was coerced into going along with this man's plot to murder the victim, on the condition that he kept my dirty secret from 10 years ago.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Yep, I told you guys. Yep.
Ryunosuke, come on, take the credit.
Yep, that was us. Yeah, we proved it. Yep. We were barking down the right path, you know. Sorry, Van Zeeks. Looks like, you know, you were on the wrong side of history again, buddy.
No. Good Lord! Dr. Scythe, do you realize what you're saying, woman?
It's all true. That day, when I arrived at the Crystal Tower and saw the birdcage, my heart nearly stopped beating. That memory from a decade ago that I'd done my best to bury deep inside myself. It was the professor again, staring me in the face.
Is that a letter? Is that a little note in his little pocket right there? What is that poking out?
And then before I had a chance to react, I noticed something else.
Oh.
There was a note tucked inside the model's jacket. Dr. Scythe, you will go along with my plan. From someone who knows the truth about what really happened that night 10 years ago.
Oh, so this... He hadn't even done it beforehand. He planted it on that waxwork model before the whole thing even... Okay. And then she wasn't even in on it until she got there. Damn.
All the instructions were there in the note. Every detail was meticulously written out. I had no choice but to do what it said. I made the necessary alterations to the scene and fabricated the autopsy report as instructed. There was really no other choice. It had to be done to protect the judiciary.
You know what would have also protected the judiciary? If you didn't do that thing 10 years ago, you fucking idiot! You maroon! You know what would have protected the judiciary if you were not such an evil, stupid idiot? Moron. Fuck you. Why do you have to be hot and evil? It's not fair.
I can only apologize now.
I'd like to cut back to Ryunosuke and he's just picking his nose, just like, yeah, I was right. Yeah.
Why on earth would you buckle now?
Well, there's no point trying to hide it anymore, is there? I would have done anything to stop it coming out, even collaborate in a murder. But the great lie about that execution 10 years ago has been exposed. Whatever happens, I'm finished.
So then, Mr. Drebber, what do you say to that? Your accomplices admitted everything.
Surely it goes without saying.
You admit your part in it too, then. Yeah, he's gonna triple and quadruple down.
I admit nothing at all.
What?
Have you forgotten that the kinesis machine was ripped to shreds by an explosion? Short of me admitting to a crime, there's really no possible way for you to prove I did anything wrong.
No!
Order!
Whatever this man says, I admit everything. He threatened to expose my secret, so I went along with his plan. And Lord Van Zeeks,
Yes?
I hope you'll accept my apologies. What happens next is in your hands, of course.
I've heard more than enough now. I hereby present the final findings of this court. This trial is not the proper forum in which to pursue the alleged wrongdoings of Mr. Drebber. The defendant is Professor Albert Hairbrain. Very true. It had slipped my mind.
Isn't he one of your closest friends?
As the court has heard, Dr. Scythe has admitted to the allegations brought by the defense, thereby absolving the defendant of any possible guilt.
You mean?
At the present time, it is the conclusion of this court that the defendant was not involved in any wrongdoing.
Oh. Are we even going to be involved in the case for these two? Surely, right? We're the ones who uncovered it. But then who will we defend? I don't know.
Does the prosecution have any objection? None, my lord.
Let's go!
Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo! You've proven Professor Harebrain's innocence.
Without further ado, then, the adjudication. Unless the prosecution or defense has any other matters to discuss.
I don't know. This doesn't feel quite right. Why did Dr. Scythe suddenly admit to it like that?
Is everything all right, Mr. Naruhodo?
Like you said before, the way the trial is set to end now, the judge will certainly deliver a verdict of not guilty. One of these. It's one of these, is it? Is that what we really want? What the defense should be pushing for now is... have a further testimony.
Objection!
The defense objects to the trial ending at this time, my lord.
I beg your pardon?
We demand one final testimony.
What? You want? Why would you want that? You do realize I'm about to adjudicate in favor of your client, I presume. What are you playing at now, my Nipponese friend? Why would you want to obstruct the conclusion of the trial at this point? No defense lawyer in his right mind would do that.
Mr. Naruhodo, what exactly are you thinking?
The truth, the whole truth, is a way to bring it all out into the open.
Oh, right.
Yes, in hindsight.
Don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone. To the bitter end, you understand? Do not falter, whatever may come to pass.
I'm sure Mr. Sholmes knew. He must have deduced that this would happen. Yes, I'm here in court to advocate for my client and to secure an acquittal.
Obviously.
But that's not all. I believe that I have a duty to the court to pursue the whole truth of the case until every last detail is laid bare. And that is why the defense calls for further testimony from Dr. Scythe.
Testimony from me? About what?
About the nature of your collaboration with Mr. Enoch Drebber.
In case it's escaped your attention, I've already admitted to everything I did. The whole truth has already been revealed. Stop wasting everyone's time. His lordship, may very plain. Your client will get the acquittal you wanted for him. There's simply no point protracting this business further with another tedious cross-examination.
Are you trying to lessen the problem on the load on your back? We ain't having that!
Objection!
Is Van Zeeks gonna side with us?
Pray forgive my careless handling of the hallowed bottle I slipped.
I slipped.
I slipped. What's your objection, Lord Van Zeeks? The prosecution also calls for supplementary testimony from the witness.
Don't be stupid!
If there's more to this case than has yet to come to light, then I will join my learned friend in pursuing the facts until the bitter end.
You'll what?
Lord Van Zeeks. Let's go!
hand in hand for the truth.
Well, this is most irregular, to say the least. However, as the prosecution also calls for it, I will uphold the request. Dr. Sile, you will testify for the court, explaining the full extent of your involvement in the murder apparently committed by Mr. Drebber.
Doing your first Sudoku game now? Let's go. Well, Mommy, coming to get you.
Very well.
Let's get all these juicy deets out into the open, shall we?
It all began at the scene when I saw the waxwork and the note tucked inside its jacket. The actual body of the victim is indicated in the note's instructions when was beneath the experimentation stage. The body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant was my job. I enlisted the help of the entire forensic investigation team to dress the scene appropriately. The truth about the execution 10 years ago is a state secret of highest level. I had to protect it.
So I was right. The stage and the machine were all specifically designed for the deception.
So it seems, and all meticulously prepared. You did well to see through it. You're a very shrewd boy.
Boy! So kind of you to say. Not like 25.
And what about this autopsy report, then? All I did was record the location of the body as being in the Crystal Tower instead of under the stage. That's all? That's a terrible corruption! Only my team were aware of the deceit, and then only under my explicit instructions. Nobody else at Scotland Yard knew anything about it, I assure you.
Well, we must be thankful for small mercies, I suppose. Well, I believe that testimony has clarified everything. There's no particular need for a cross-examination, I would say.
No, I disagree. I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. Just look at that expression on her face. She's smiling so wickedly. It's the defense's right to cross-examine any witness following its testimony.
What is it about you Japanese that makes you all so doggedly persistent?
Very well. If you so desire, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. Who am I to fucking stop her? I've got nowhere to be. It's fish and chips for dinner, so... I don't have to be home till 8.
It all began at the scene.
It all began at the scene. From what you describe here, it sounds like the note was anonymous. Did you have any idea who was behind it?
There were very few people in the know about what really happened 10 years ago to start with. But anyway, I'd never heard of this engineer, so no, I had no idea.
Yet despite not knowing who was behind the plan, you went along with it.
I had no choice. Protecting the professor's secret was my only concern.
But the horse is bolted now, and the stable door will never shut again. Scotland Yard's reputation will be immeasurably damaged as a result of all this.
Yes, thank you, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm well aware of that.
So I understand it, what you found in the birdcage was the waxwork model. Where then was the victim's body?
Hold it!
So you knew about the special construction of the stage used to carry out the trick, then?
It was quite obvious when what had happened with the victim and the waxwork.
And you switched the two over, didn't you? In other words, you recorded the victim's body as having been discovered in the Crystal Tower. And the waxwork?
I wrapped it and sent it by carriage to the specified address at the specified time.
And why were you given such directions?
Presumably so it could be recovered by Drebber and returned to Madame Tussel's.
Hello, Cumcat. My automod thinks you're a ban evader, and it is currently monitoring you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Automod.
Presumably, so it could have been recovered by Drebber and returned to Madame Tussball's.
I see, and then you put the birdcage back on the experimentation stage.
Yes, although someone obviously made a mistake about which cage should go where. I thought I'd made it perfectly clear to the team, but still.
I suppose you were focused on the victim's body, that being a more important detail.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba. The body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant, which was my job.
When you say arranged, I presume you mean with this?
Yes, the instructions of the engineer's notes said something along the lines of, fabricate some evidence to make it clear that Hairbrain alone could have killed Asman.
So, you mean that was your doing?
I fetched Hairbrain's ridiculous screwdriver from the stage, and took it with me, alone, to the abyss under the stage where the birdcage had fallen.
Alone, Doctor.
I didn't feel it would be appropriate to involve anybody else in that particular part of the deception. There was a void under the stage where I found the birdcage lying in the dirt.
Wow, they're gonna really put a lot of emphasis on this, huh?
I approached it, leaned down, and slowly opened it up. And I took the screwdriver in both hands and plunged it into the man's chest.
And then you noted that in your fake autopsy report as a fictitious cause of death.
Exactly.
So, the actual cause of death was...
The trauma resulting from the 30-foot drop.
My word.
What is it, Miss Susato?
Something about Dr. Scythe's last statement is playing on my mind. That's all.
Yeah, mine too. Dr. Scythe!
There's really no need to shout. I can hear you perfectly well.
The defense Oh, really? Oh, okay. For you to add what you just said to your formal testimony, please.
No? Which part?
What I want her to supplement her testimony with is... the real cause of death. Because would that trauma really have killed the guy? In that protective cage? I'm not sure. I was wondering if she was the one who actually dealt the final blow to him. The real cause of death being the fall of 30 feet. That part.
Fine, if that's what you want. Just stop yelling, please.
The prosecution concurs. Very well. You will supplement your testimony now, witness.
Hold it!
You're quite sure of that? It was a result of a broken neck?
Yes, as a professional, that was more than apparent. You'd never know just by looking at the photograph of the victim, though, would you?
No, that's very true.
Obviously not. Which is precisely why coroners needed to determine the actual facts.
Yeah, but the thing is, he fell upright. He fell fully upright. From the stage, he fell upright. So he would have just been knocked out. 100%. I guess assuming they can be trusted.
There's no point calling her assessment into question without evidence. Let's get back to the testimony.
Objection!
Oh, no.
Oh no, that's my last point! Oh, fuck. Shit.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
I like it, you can still technically fail here, even though if that doesn't make any sense. Maybe it would have been too much to just be like, okay, that's enough. Innocent. Because it makes no sense that they would call Mr. Harebrain guilty after all of that. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Alright.
Hold it!
It was the cage that fell foot first. I don't think that's how he broke his neck. But maybe we should try the other one just in case. Just see what she says. Maybe I'm wrong here. So I'm sure I can change it anyway.
I stood over the victim's corpse where it lay on, in the toppled cage and plunged the screwdriver into the chest. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 ba 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 ba. The victim's corpse where it lay in the toppled cage and plunged my screwdriver into the chest. Well, that would seem to be right. Would it though? Would it be right? Hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Broken vertebra, most likely resulting from the impact after a sudden fall from considerable height.
So it was you that stabbed Asmund with this.
Yes, far easier than dissection, I assure you. No precision required.
What a welcome change.
The victim died instantly from a snapped neck. All I did was carry out the instructions I'd been given.
As unflinchingly as ever, no doubt. I imagine you didn't bat an eyelid when you drove that weapon into the body.
There was no need to bat my eyelids.
And what else did you do to twist the facts? Remind the court, why don't you? The entire team in perverting the course of justice?
My team consists of the very best investigators there are. I demand loyalty from all members. We operate on a code of chivalry of sorts.
You aid and abet a murderer, commit perjury, and dare to talk of chivalry?
It was a matter of priorities.
What?
Nothing was more important than protecting the secret of the professor. My team did what was necessary without losing sight of the primary goal. I consider their conduct exemplary.
Ugh.
Don't concede the point, Mr. Naruhodo. You mustn't let her win.
I need a lawyer.
Hold it!
But at what cost? Faith in Scotland Yard's going to suffer a terrible blow as a result of this.
And your precious secret is out now anyway.
Yes, as you say. I take full responsibility.
Blow me down, Dr. Scythe!
Surely there was some other way you could have protected the secret.
No, there really wasn't. I've done my utmost, believe me. And in many ways, I respect your determination.
Ugh, I nearly froze under that cold stare as she said that.
I do believe she was being genuine, though, Mr. Naruhodo.
So that's her story.
She's admitted everything and revealed her full involvement in the crime. I do wonder if there could really be much more to it.
Well, I don't know, but I just have a feeling. Now, those two are reacting in completely opposite ways. Well, she's saying she was complicit, but I'm gonna guess that she, you know, she actually killed him. Maybe the person who shot, the professor was Odai. Odie. Maybe Odai's man shot the professor as he came up. Got a depth first try. Let's go, gamers. Have you gotten the platinum? Well, actually, what platform are you playing on? I was gonna ask if you got the platinum trophy, but I guess that kind of exists on other platforms too. Have you gotten all the achievements? Is my thing? Yeah. Okay. Steam. Yes, exactly. For some reason, I feel they're still trying to hide something. You need to buy every character for 100%? Really? Every character has an achievement and you have to buy all of them? That's a little fucked up. You know how it works on PlayStation? If there's, like, downloadable DLC, that is a separate achievement pack, so you can still get the platinum on the regular thing. I wonder if that's how it is, actually. Because Dead by Daylight, it's on PlayStation, obviously. I wonder if that's how they do it there. You're like, nope, you gotta buy every character. Sorry. Is DBD crossplay? I wonder. Because we're definitely playing for FNAF, so, you know. Big Boss, you seem like the resident DBD expert, so you probably want to play with us when we do.
Hold it!
It is crossplay? Okay, cool. I mean, it is on, like, everything, right? So... She opened the birdcage. Yeah, no reason she couldn't have opened it. Real cause of death being the fall, of course. Yeah, that's what's messing with us. I think she was the one who killed him. I think so. I can't really pick apart the other thing she said. Neck trauma. Because he fell body, you know, straight. He fell vertically, feet first. So I'm not entirely convinced that his neck was snapped. Brother.
Objection!
Nope. Oh, right, I better save. I don't want to do all of this again. It's gotta be Springtrap, right? I mean, who else is it really gonna be? I mean, actually, they might do something where it's like the Mimic because of Secret of the Mimic coming out like really soon. Maybe it'll be like a cross cross promotion for that. Maybe. They do multiple killers sometimes, right? So maybe they'll do like Springtrap Freddy and Mimic, or I don't know, something like that. I have no idea. We don't really know anything. We haven't even got a trailer for it, so who knows? They only do one at a time. The only one they've doubled up on is RE. Yeah, well, Resident Evil has, like, a never-ending list of killers, so, I don't know. That makes sense. Bum bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 ba 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 ba. Death by hanging. I had a random idea that maybe the neck trauma was actually because of the wax model.
Objection!
Not true. Because he got hung, but then the hanging never actually took place, so. And the cage, unless I can re-examine the cage somewhere. La 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 na 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 na. Did I present this for this? Yeah, I did. Maybe I could present this?
Objection!
No. Just proof that it was a straight fall. I can't shake that that's what I should be trying to prove here, but it's not working, so maybe I am upside down. Maybe it is the other one. But then that one's just that she stabbed him in the chest, which, yeah, that corroborates with that. And I don't think the side of which matters. Well, actually, wait. There isn't any blood on this. Unless you count, like, that little red stain, but I don't know if you can count that, because I can't examine it. You know what? Fuck it. I don't know, so I'll just try.
Hold it!
Kind of annoying that I have to do this to switch the testimony, but... Oh, wait. Do I have both now? Oh, no. Here we go. Took the screwdriver in both hands and plunged it into the man's chest. It sounds pretty, you know, messy.
Objection!
Dang it. Straight over the victim's corpse where it lay in a toppled cage, and I plunged the screwdriver into its chest. To the chest.
Objection!
Okay. Before Reno's case says what it is, because that was kind of just an out of the blue. Stabbed it into his chest. Yeah. Blood all running down. No splatter. It has been removed. It has been removed. So it should have been a big bloodbath, right? But then, if that's the purpose, then, like, why wouldn't the cage also have worked? If the point is that there's not enough blood around. I don't know. I'll let him speak. Oops. This is gonna be an oh my god, it's so obvious moment. I guess we'll see. I've got a nasty feeling that this inconsistency points to an extremely uncomfortable truth.
What on earth is the matter, Counsel? Have you lost your tongue?
I apologize, my lord. Dr. Scythe, in that last statement of yours, there's just one point that seems to defy explanation.
Out with it, my learned friend.
There's an obvious inconsistency between your description and this photograph. Oh, you're right, this is new song. Ooh. Which shows the victim in the birdcage following the events that led to his death.
Objection!
The court has examined the photograph in depth. There's nothing new we can learn from it.
Objection!
Yes, we have already considered it, that's true. But we now know the facts to be different.
What do you mean? I believe we should let the defense explain.
The inconsistency. I don't know. I don't know.
Take that!
The wound? Look closely at the bloodstain on the victim's chest. Okay. Yeah. Clearly it extends in a downward direction towards the man's feet. Oh, meaning he was stabbed upright. Not... Oh! Oh! Gravity! Oh, you so right. You so right, Urinosuke. You so right. It all comes back around to gravity. Mr. Sholmes knew it all along with that anti-gravity shit. He knew what he was doing.
If the victim was stabbed moments before the kinesis machine was set in motion, that's entirely expected. Ah, of course. No, that's not what happened.
Exactly, my lord. Dr. Scythe made it very clear in her testimony just now that the point at which she stole Professor Hairbrain's screwdriver and stabbed the victim was after the grand deception was set in motion when the birdcage had fallen to the ground out of sight. From the shape of it, it's clear the birdcage would have fallen on its side from the 30 feet drop. Oh, okay. And if the victim had really been stabbed whilst inside the birdcage in that position, the blood from the wound would have spread out equally in all directions. For it to have formed the longitudinal appearance we can see in this picture, it's inconceivable.
Given that the victim's blood seeped vertically downwards from the wound, it must be the case that when you stabbed Mr. Asman, he was standing up. Oh, shit. Well... Uh-oh. It seems I was right to a degree. He was alive. In short, Dr. Scythe, your latest testimony was a total fabrication. I knew it. I was right. Now I've identified that contradiction. There's only one way to explain the facts. We've all been under a great misapprehension here.
What? What sort of misapprehension?
Dr. Scythe, you claim you were coerced into helping Mr. Drebber as a result of the note he left in the waxwork. You claim that he made changes to the scene of the crime to implicate the defendant. And you claim that you authored a fake autopsy report to cover your tracks. But one of those claims is an out-and-out lie. Because the question of what the bloodstain really tells us has only one possible answer.
If that's the case, what is it, man? Counsel, you've clearly struck upon a revelation. Now tell the court what it is. Which part of Dr. Scythe's story is shown to be a lie by the contradiction in her testimony?
How she was coerced. Yeah, maybe she wasn't coerced at all. Dr. Scythe, clearly you weren't really coerced by the letter at all.
What?
If you were, where is this note? It's nowhere to be seen.
That's as may be.
So why don't you present it to the court if the assertion vexes you?
Obviously, I've already disposed of it, and I'm not vexed in the slightest.
Counsel, need I remind you that it was you yourself who established the coercion?
I'll retract that statement.
Yeah. Shit!
Well, better save. Then the stabbing, then. Because he would have been alive. Oh, or the autopsy report. The broken vertebrae, maybe. He didn't die to the fall. You say that you examined the body and wrote this report based on your findings. But that's a blatant lie, isn't it?
I'm sorry, but I simply can't fathom what you're attempting to say.
The truth is, you had your subordinates do the work for you, and they authored the report. Then you wielded your superiority over them and claimed the credit for yourself. Can you honestly say that's not what happened?
Yes, I can honestly say that's not what happened.
Well, good. Glad to hear it. Okay. I'm glad I fixed it. Well, good. Well, good. I was like, yes, Ryunosuke, yes. Bring up the vertebrae. He didn't die to the fall. Oh, and you fucked it up. Well, the stabbing. The answer is very simple if you consider the sequence of events. If when the victim was stabbed, the blood from the wound seeped downwards as it did, we can be sure the victim must have been either sitting or standing upright at the time.
But as you rightly pointed out, the birdcage would have fallen on its side when it fell beneath the stage.
Yes, it would, which tells us that the victim must have been in a position of his own accord.
Objection!
It's impossible. The man was dead, remember?
No, that's the misapprehension. I knew it. It was so obvious that it was just like, okay, that's the obvious one. Don't pick that. It's probably not right. And then, of course, you picked that. I gotta learn my lesson sometimes. When the birdcage fell from the stage into the void below, it must have hit the ground with considerable force. Talking about me, Cupcat? I mean, yeah, we play multiplayer games somewhat often. Not necessarily on stream, but we do play multiplayer games, you know. Mario Kart, Marvel Rivals. In fact, we haven't even done the Marvel Rivals Season 2 stream yet. But rest assured, we've been playing it a lot in our off time. Mario Party, stuff like that. But Mr. Asmund didn't die in the fall. He probably lost consciousness for a while, but when he came back around, he got to his feet to climb out of the cage. Just as Dr. Scythe appeared. If the victim was in fact alive at that point in time, it changes everything. Mr. Odie Asmund's killer wasn't the defendant, Professor Albert Harebrain. Nor was it the mastermind behind the stage trickery, Mr. Enoch Drebber. It was you, Dr. Courtney Scythe!
Order, order, order! Can this possibly be true?
Have you been taking me for a fool? It was you, was it? You killed him. You hoped that by admitting to being an accomplice in Mr. Drebber's scheme, the trial would end. Before you were accused of a far worse crime. Cold-blooded murder. Oh, do shut up! You're so desperate now, you're making this all up, as if I would do something like that.
Objection!
I assure you the defense is not desperate, Doctor. Mr. Naruhodo has established the facts using evidence and logic alone. Logic? Don't make me laugh. Sadly, your logic has a gaping hole in it.
What do you mean?
I'd have thought it was obvious. A motive, boy. You're lacking a motive. What possible reason would I have to kill Mr. Asmund?
Asmund was involved in a number of criminal activities, from coercion to theft to murder. But there's no known connection to Dr. Scythe here.
Is Dr. Scythe
The Reaper?
We've been under the pretense that it was a man, but perhaps it was Dr. Scythe. Her name is Scythe, after all. Her last name is literally the weapon of the Reaper. You know? Is it really gonna be that obvious? Please, it's kind of based. It's kind of based that it's just like right there in front of you. Yeah, her last name's Reaper. The Reaper uses a scythe. It's pretty obvious that she's the real person behind all this.
I'm rather relieved to say it does seem somewhat far-fetched.
True. There's no obvious motive, but there's still something at the back of my mind. I feel sure I've seen something somewhere that hints at why the coroner might have done this.
Yes, I might have tampered with the crime scene and concocted a fake report. But murdering someone for no reason is a very different story.
Objection!
No. When you question what possible reason you could have for wanting to kill Mr. Asmund, something did come to mind.
What?
What was it come to? Enlighten the court at once.
Okay, stay with me here. A scythe is what? A gardening tool, and the weapon the Grim Reaper usually uses. Now, think with me. Who's been plaguing this country for a while? The Reaper, okay. Coincidentally, this witness's last name is Scythe. Yes, we saw it yesterday, didn't we? Something that seems strange, but we had no reason to suspect it at the time. The 100 scalpels? Or the 500 scalpels, however many. It was a lot of scalpels.
Scalpels. It's a scalpel. Or rather, scalpels.
Did you say scalpels?
It would appear that word has struck a chord, Doctor.
You... Come on, out with it.
It was yesterday when we visited your laboratory. Yeah, 500 scalpels every month. I still don't know where we're going with this, though. Before. It's not clicking.
500 scalpels a month?
At first, I wondered what on earth you could be using that many scalpels for. But actually, I realize now it's not the scalpels themselves that are significant. It's the money for them, disappearing every month from the department's accounts. Laundering.
Asmon's criminal organization relied heavily on extortion for its funding. Tracing the money from the forensic investigation team's account to find out where it was going would be extremely straightforward.
10 years ago, when Mr. Asman was still a journalist and wrote this article about Mr. Drebber, he may well have stumbled upon information as he was researching the story. Information relating to Dr. Scythe's darkest secret that he would use to rack money from her for the next decade. Oh. So Asman was blackmailing this whole time?
Her darkest secret? Good lord, you mean?
I don't know what happened on the night of that execution 10 years ago, but clearly the opportunity to rid yourself of that menace was too tempting to pass up. So in the end, you weren't coerced at all, were you? You did it entirely of your own free will. And that's what I was trying to implicate earlier when you told me about the you weren't coerced option. Thanks, Ryunosuke. You stabbed Mr. Asman in the heart with all your might. To silence the blackmailer who knew your dark secret forever.
You'll never understand. None of you. What we've had to keep covered up all these long years.
Crickets. Play the cricket sound effect. As very little of the machine remains after it was ripped apart by the bomb. The truth of this case can never be properly established unless you speak out.
And if you decide not to, it's very possible that Courtney Scythe will escape punishment for her crimes. Please, sir, own up to what you've done, and tell the court the truth about what happened.
10 years ago, you told the truth, and you were robbed of a bright and successful future as a result. I can certainly understand your bitterness and your consternation now. However, this is surely the chance you've been waiting for. Sever the hold that fates had over you all these years.
And hey, I mean, your sentence is going to be way less harsh now that we know the truth.
Super high voltage, instantaneous kinesis. I mean, really. It's the addle-brained mock scientists that are the worst, you know. They don't recognize the fact that they don't have talent. They can't even get that right. And so they end up chasing impossible dreams, having unbridled faith in their abilities. They go on and on about their wonderful hypothesis, their stupid eyes shining like a little child's. They make me sick. I can't abide their foolishness. Careful, Mr. Drebber. I was particularly pleased with the kinesis machine. It made for quite a show, didn't it?
So you admit it. You admit that it was nothing more than a sham made for the purpose of killing the victim?
Yes, I admit it. I did it all in the name of revenge.
Revenge for the future that Mr. Asmund's article had deprived you of 10 years earlier. But the revenge you sought didn't stop at Asmund, did it?
Which is where that very particular waxwork comes in. Yes, I see.
The condemned convict that you saw rising from the grave in Lowgate Cemetery 10 years ago. If your account of all those events was true,
Then obviously Scotland Yard couldn't afford to acknowledge what had happened. Even if it meant discrediting a bright young man and crushing any future career he might have had.
So your plan required that you abduct the that particular waxwork model in order to exact your revenge on Scotland Yard as well, or on Dr. Scythe to be precise.
It was a year ago. By some extraordinary twist of fate, Asmund turned up at my workshop. He didn't remember who I was, of course. He just wanted to employ my services as an engineer. And he happened to have a paper with him. An article on the front page caught my eye. About the coroner who handled that bogus autopsy being appointed head of the new forensic team. When I learnt that news, my cognitive processes started to devise the plan.
what a horrid tale.
He robbed me of my future. I wanted to use the man's own wiles against him for revenge, and have that rotten Scotland Yard eating out of my hand at the same time. I wanted them all to suffer the same humiliation I'd have to suffer.
Your actions against those who'd ruined your future were justified as revenge, at least to yourself. Certainly, no one has the right to destroy another's prospects, especially for purely selfish gain. And yet, in carrying out your plan, you did exactly that to someone else, didn't you?
Did I?
Professor Harebrain's only crime was passion for his hypothesis. But you had no compunction about sacrificing his future to exact your revenge. You knew that he would forever be branded as a failure and a fraud. Perhaps life treated you unfairly 10 years ago and others' misconduct left your life in tatters. But remember this. Your own actions resulted in exactly the same thing for another perfectly innocent young man. I'm glad Drebber was actually a emotionally driven character. I'm glad he wasn't just like a cold-blooded fucking evil murderer. Not an entire redemption, obviously, but, you know.
Lord Van Zieks, what of Dr. Scythe? An immediate warrant for her arrest has been granted, and she's remanded in custody, my lord. I presume that she will face trial in the coming days, along with Mr. Drebber.
Hey! Phew!
A most regrettable situation indeed. She's made great contributions to her profession over the years. It really is a hard truth to swallow. However, that is a topic for some future occasion. For now, Professor Harebrain.
Yes?
It seems there was a great deal more to your experiment than you realized. However, I think we can assume now that all the sordid details have been brought to light. This has been a very long and profound trial, but I'm pleased to say that you are absolved of all guilt.
This whole experience has taught me a very great but painful lesson. This dedicated scientist, this devotee of natural philosophy. I've been selfish and self-centered, and above all, a fool.
Professor.
I've spent my life thinking nothing but my research. Misguidedly believing that I could do whatever I set my mind to, despite my lack of talent. And the worst of it is, in the process, I've caused others pain and misery. Others who are far, far greater people than I.
No, Professor, that's not true.
Huh?
Don't tie yourself with the same brush as Drebber. What happened was his doing and his alone. This outcome is his fate, not yours. You're not to blame in any way.
Lord Van Zieks.
And the derision with which he referred to you earlier, calling you a fool. Talentless, even. The man has no idea. To believe in yourself and work your fingers to the bone, to realize your dreams, that's laudable, not laughable. No one has the right to deride another for such choices.
No! Thank you, Barrack.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord? It is this court's expectation that you find the defendant not guilty on the charge of which he stands accused. I presume there are no objections? None from me, my lord.
Certainly not.
This trial has really made me think, but this is the right decision. So we proven methodically and vigorously. I have no misgivings whatsoever.
What's that? He's done, is he? It's all over?
I don't know what's become of the yard these days. I don't recognize the place. Very well. In that case, I hereby pronounce the defendant
Not guilty! Hooray! Yippee! Thank you, British Gumshoe. Thank you.
Court is adjourned.
It's over. That was some trial. Oh boy, howdy. What's the next one gonna be about? I don't know. Well, it's obviously gonna do with the Forensic Investigation Symposium, right? I think there's probably gonna be a murder there or something. Professor, what a splendid outcome, isn't it? I mean, this one was pretty peak. And it's really set up the end game here. I wonder how long we're gonna have to wait till we find out who the imprisoned was.
Oh, it is. Congratulations, Professor Hairbrain.
Oh, holy fuck! Oh my god, Mr. Naruhodo! Mr. Sato! I am truly beside myself with gratitude! How can I ever thank you enough?
I'm just glad it's all been cleared up. You realize you were just caught up in a bad situation. And we'll be demanding $500,000. Oh, sorry, pounds.
Right now, if I had the research grant money, I'd give the whole lot to you, every penny!
Well, that's very kind, but I'm just a student, so...
We don't need any financial reward. Your acquittal is more than enough.
Oh dear, what can I do? Oh, I got it! How about this, as a memento? The paper about my hypothesis is inside.
Well, just as a memento then. Thank you.
I've been wondering, Professor, what are you gonna do now?
Yes, what am I gonna do? My hypothesis and my great machine lie in ruins. But still, it's been too long since I was last in London, so perhaps I'll enjoy some sightseeing. I might explore the Great Exhibition whilst I'm here too. Let's see if any new inspiration hits me.
And maybe, you know, kick back with your friend, who I think just showed up.
I can't allow that. Hey, bitches. What up? Van Zeek's in the fucking house.
Lord Van Zeeks, what are you doing in here?
Barrack!
I'm sorry you had to go through that, Albert.
Oh, well, if I'm honest, it was terrifying. You were like a great demon behind your bench there, snarling down on your prey.
You're one of the very few true friends I have. I couldn't leave it to anybody else to handle the prosecution or the defense.
Aw, see? He loves us. We're buddy-buddy. I'm sorry? We're the defense. Did I hear that right?
I always knew that you had my best interests at heart. Don't worry, big pal. How about you show me around while I'm here in town? It's been a long time since we left university. We have a lot to catch up on.
Listen, Albert. In a few days, your acquittal will be made official. When that happens, you must head straight to Dover. I'll accompany you.
What?
From there, you'll cross the channel and make your way back to Germany. I've already purchased the tickets.
Oh, right, because he doesn't want him to get offed. Reaper's still on the loose, you know. It seems like Dr. Scythes wasn't the Reaper, but, you know, it was a good guess. Maybe her husband, you know. She is Courtney Stevens, you know. Scythes isn't her actual maiden name, so may chance the Scythes family name is still up for grabs by John Reaper. I don't know.
But no! Hold on a minute, Barrack! What about the Great Exhibition? This is a chance of a lifetime for me. I want to look around.
No sightseeing, Albert. Give up on the idea.
So sometimes it's hard to see any warmth in those eyes, Barrack.
Lord Van Zeeks, what's all this about?
Necessary precaution.
Yes, I think I understand.
You do? Come on, Renosuke, are you really that daft? Have you already forgotten about your very first trial? Your defendant in the very first trial died right at this exact moment. Like 8 or so months ago, whenever it started.
Well, Iris told me that when you met Lord Von Zeeks at his office some days ago, he asked you how Mr. Natsume was doing.
Yeah, that's right. I remember being surprised at the time. I think it was nice of him to ask.
The point is, Mr. Natsume is still alive and well, even though it's been more than 6 months now that he stood trial with the Reaper as the prosecutor.
You mean the Reaper's influence doesn't stretch overseas?
Those on the Reaper's sides meet their ends days or sometimes months after their acquittal. That's been the pattern up until now.
But of course, we know that both Mr. Natsume and Gina were completely innocent.
True. And perhaps that governs the Reaper's actions. The truly innocent are spared. But I don't want to take any chances with a close personal friend.
Barrack!
Like the mustache Nipponese, this man should leave the country without delay. That's why I'm packing him off to Germany at once.
Aw, it's so sweet.
You're such a sweetheart, You're such a sweetheart, Van Zeeks.
Right. Does your friend-shaped package get any say in it?
Goodness, was this your intention all along, Lord Von Zeeks?
In court, where people think of him as the Reaper, this man seems absolutely merciless, and yet sometimes I feel as though I don't understand him at all. He's a tsundere, Ryunosuke. Come on, that term originates from Japan. I mean, come on. You should know.
It's time to go, Albert. Back to the prison for the time being.
Ah, yes, alright. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm gonna go back to the barracks sex dungeon or whatever the fuck he's got for me. I don't know. My life's in his hands now, apparently. Thank you so much for everything.
Not at all, Professor. It was a great pleasure getting to know you. Best wishes, Professor Harebrain.
Well, once the dust is settled, you must come visit me in Germany. Just not in like 30 years. You might want to skip out on like the middle part of the 1900s. I hypothesize there's going to be a certain few wars. Anyway, goodbye for now.
Now, my Nipponese friend.
Oh, yes? I thought you'd gone too.
We have matters to discuss. Can you spare me some time?
You want to talk with me? Wait, you're coming to speak to me? The great Mr. Reaper, oh, holier than thou, coming to speak to this lowly defense attorney. Oh boy, what joyous day.
Just shut up and listen. I'll be waiting in the courtroom in 10 minutes.
Ooh, I don't like the sound of that. Well, that was strange. Isn't that exactly how, for some reason, I didn't get the sense of impending doom as he walked away this time. The Enigma, Eric von Zieks. What does he want to discuss, I wonder? The answer awaits in the courtroom, I suppose. Well, here goes. Are we gonna stand at our tables? On our benches? Oh, God. Okay. Oh, Cosmo's here, too.
So, are you satisfied? You saved a guileless scientist from a great injustice?
Yes, I think so. I'm relieved, at least, that the man's innocence could be proven.
Anyway, I imagine you've been wondering where my animosity towards you Nipponese comes from.
We reached at least 3 heart points with Von Zieks, and now we get a character interaction. Oh boy! We get a character event! This is Persona! Are you gonna increase the XP I get when fighting shadows? Well, at first I thought you just didn't like me. I imagine you saw me as a pretentious child from an unimportant land who had no business being here. But now, I think differently. You clearly know our ways, so I would guess that some specific incident led to your thorough dislike of my race. Will you tell me what happened, please?
The professor. I thought I'd never hear that name in this courtroom again, to be honest.
He took your brother's life.
Clint. My brother was Clint von Zieks. 16 years ago, when I was still just in my teens, he was already the director of prosecutions and a key member of the judiciary. I looked up to him. He was everything I aspired to be. He was involved in the establishment of justice systems in foreign countries as well. There were exchange programs between Britain and other nations then too, to share knowledge and ideas. As a part of one of those programs, 3 judicial students came to Britain from your homeland, the Empire of Japan.
Oh. If it was 16 years ago, then one of them could have been my father.
Mario!
Who's Mario? The professor?
Of course. I remember Dr. Mikitoba well.
I had no idea.
I was a minor at the time, training in the prosecutor's office. One day, Clint introduced me to the 3 visiting Nipponese.
So you've actually met my father?
He and his colleagues were polite and amicable. They were adept at their work and exacting in their standards. It was my first encounter with the Nipponese spirit, and it made a very great impression upon me. But 6 years later, that's when it happened. The investigation was going nowhere. There were no suspects even, just an ever-growing list of victims. And in the end, my brother became one of them. The last, in fact, before the case was finally resolved.
I'm so sorry, Lord Von Zeeks. Truly. Alright. So it seems we're pointing towards the professor being one of these three. Mikotoba's alive. So, it probably isn't Mario. And the other two... Oh, I gotta turn my lights on. It's all cloudy now. It's definitely gonna rain. Perfect timing for rain, honestly.
Clint was always ready to put his life on the line for justice anyway. So he wouldn't have wanted it any other way. He lost his life to the killer, but it was his victory in the end. For me personally, though, it was a great loss. I found myself in a very dark place indeed. When I finally found out the killer's identity, the reason why no one had been able to catch the man sooner ceased to be such a mystery. He'd been hiding in plain sight all the time.
In plain sight?
Are you aware of political events 10 years ago? It was a period of extremely sensitive diplomacy between the British and Japanese empires.
A new treaty was being forged, I think.
Correct. The Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation was being concluded. The leaders of both countries were deep in extensive political discussions, which is why this particular killer's appearance in court was conducted as a closed trial. If the British public had known the identity of the killer, not only would the treaty have been in jeopardy, but our two nations could very well have ended up at war.
What? A war between Britain and Japan? But that would mean... Oh my, you mean to say the professor was...
When the trial reached its conclusion
Oh shit!
earlier,
Voice
I
acting.
thought to myself, yes, it's time.
Are we gonna get to see the man now?
Time for you to come face to face with this hideous monster. I borrowed the key for the mask from the proprietress of the Waxwork Museum. So see for yourselves now. Confirm it with your own eyes. The truth that's been hidden this past decade.
Oh! Oh! Do it!
That's the professor?
Who is it? Turn it around! I don't know who that is!
Yes, that's him.
Until now, the thought never even crossed my mind. That the mass murderer, whose crimes shook Britain as never before.
Am I supposed to know who that is? Is that the judge? But younger? No.
Was Japanese.
Oh, that's the takeaway. I mean, yeah, he basically said that. I got that part.
Wait a minute. That face.
Who is it?
I feel as though I've seen it somewhere.
Of course.
Strangely familiar.
Is that Kazuma's dad or something? Oh, shit. Whoa! Whoa! Hey, Joker Persona 5.
Father.
Oh, shit. Oh shit, it was Joker Persona 5's dad all along. Oh shit. Oh shit.
What? Father?
No, he's supposed to start bleeding and then he summons his persona after that.
Kazuma!
You already knew that was Kazuma! Come on, man!
My best friend, Kazuma Asogi. After a whole year, finally his memories returned.
I don't know if he's gonna be
He stood
as...
there before me.
Is he really gonna be back to his old self? They really are. That's a very skin-tight outfit. He is definitely not wearing any undershirt. Huh? Ryunosuke? What the fuck are you doing here? What the hell? Where am I?
Hello again. My friend.
Kazuma-sama!
Judicial Assistant Mikotoba.
Did you have to say her entire job title?
It's been a very long road. Thank you. Thank you for guiding my friend here when I could not.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great design. I mean, I don't know if it's actually... obviously, it's, like, inspired by, like, all sorts of things, but... I mean, anything that is similar to, like, Persona's style, I am down to clown, man. The whole mask thing was just... brilliant.
It was an honor.
I still don't know what you mean by that, but here we are.
I knew you wouldn't die that easily. Kazuma.
Yeah, there was no way he would hit his head on the bedside table, and that's what killed him. That was always suspicious to me. I was just like, no way that's how he died. My boy? And now they can be gay together forever. Now their marriage can go through.
For taking good care of that in my absence.
Oh. Karuma. Great blade of the Asogi clan. Passed down through the generations.
Am I crazy? Does this feel like a conclusion to the entire... Like, obviously it's not a conclusion to the entire game. We gotta do 2 more trials. But it very much feels final.
When we left Japan, this sword was at my friend's side. The Japanese man's katana is his soul, and he couldn't be parted from it. But then, when the incident happened,
He's just sleeping there. He's just knocked out.
it was Susato-san's wish that I inherit the sword, and I've kept it with me ever since, along with my memories of the friendship we shared.
Now he should wrap the headband around his head. And then join us at the defense office, you know? But I have a feeling that's probably not what's gonna happen here.
With this by my side, I always felt that you were watching over me somehow.
Put the headband on.
I've made it. At last.
Father. Are you saying... Surely not. You mean, you knew all this time? I'm looking at it. But... I still can't believe it. This mass murderer is Kazuma's father.
Did he cut his head off? Gonna have to pay property damages, but... Oh. Sick.
Kazuma-sama.
He's just pent up, you guys. He's been amnesic for like the
Ryunosuke,
whole time.
we have much to talk about, but now is not the time. I'll be seeing you.
Huh?
That's all Kazuma said. Before he turned and left us there, in the courtroom.
So, he's the living after-image of the man who took my brother's life, is he?
Yes, Kazuma Asogi, my best friend.
3 months ago, when Lord Strongheart introduced us, I had an inkling there was something there, some connection.
Why did Lord Strongheart do that? Why did he make Kazuma Lord Van Zeek's apprentice? He was suffering amnesia, too.
The man was apprehended, even executed. But his legacy just won't die. That's the sad truth. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I thank you for meeting me with me as I asked.
Now, Ryu, don't go betraying his trust, because that will ruin him forever. I mean, he's only just now warming up to us. It would be a bad time to make a bad move.
10 years ago, my grandmother took me to the railway station. We were there to meet my father from the train. For me. It was the first time I'd ever seen him.
Poor Susato-san. All this is tied up with painful memories for her, too. She's never talked about this with me before, though.
It took time to adjust to having father around, but just when I was starting to get used to it, he called me into his study one day. He told me that a great friend of his had passed away in London, and that the friend had left behind a son. A boy 7 years my senior. Father told me the boy had made a promise to his late father, so he was studying to become a defense lawyer. I wanted to help, so I studied to become a qualified judicial assistant. As I'm sure you've worked out, that young man's name was Kazuma Asogi. So you see, that's how he and I met.
For a brief moment, my great friend had returned, only to disappear again all too soon.
Yep.
But in that fleeting encounter, something stirred. Something that had been dormant for a long time. As if great wheels had been set in motion. I could almost hear them creaking into life. In some ways, it was the end of a chapter. But in many, it was the start of a new one.
Are you insinuating something, Ryunosuke? Do you want me to start the next chapter right now? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, buddy. Don't have to get all philosophical on me. You could just say, play the next chapter, bro. And I would be like, okay, sure, pal. Whatever you say.
The demasking. The demasking. Of course. Twisted Karma and his last bow. Like, Von Karma? Alright. Let's start it. Let's go.
Sholmes looked down at the thick, rolling fog outside our window. I wonder exactly how many mysteries are out there, hidden within this bed of fog.
That was a really loud snore.
Indeed, a most bizarre incident, born of a curious...
Oh god, the
adversity.
uprising of the Gingers. Oh shit.
A
Run!
hellhound's mad gallop through the shadows of a serial
Oh, the Hounds of
murder,
Baskerville.
an executed man's graveyard resurrection in the dead of night. And a commonplace killing in a small, forgotten room at the edge of town. There is, naturally, always another side to every case, of which most remain ignorant. And it is that other side which compels me to the scene of the crime, Wilson. So quickly now, take your hat and let's be on our way, my dear fellow. For our adventure is not over yet. Come.
The game is afoot. Alright. 8 days after that earth-shattering trial and Cosmo regaining his memory, we were in the foyer of one of London's most luxurious hotels, the Great Waterloo Hotel. Waterloo? Well, look at this! Professor Mikitoba is due to arrive any moment.
Yes, I'm so glad we got to be here in time.
Shuttle-san hasn't been the same since what happened. Not that I'm surprised.
The truth about Kazuma-sama's father. Do you suppose my father knew?
That he was actually the mass murderer of the professor, you mean? I wouldn't go just, you know, talking about that in a public space. It is still like a state secret. The identity of him, you know? I knew that's what she was thinking about. There's a good chance, I'd say. I mean, they did come here to London together 16 years ago, didn't they?
Yes, that's true.
Come to think of it, didn't you say that Professor Mikitoba knew about Kazuma going missing in Hong Kong as well?
That's right. But for some reason he wasn't at liberty to talk to me about it.
It probably means he knows then. About Kazuma showing up here in London with amnesia and that he's regained his memory now.
Ah, there she is!
Well, they were, it was these two and Kazuma's father, I'm guessing. Because I think that was already established that he was, like, working with the judge way back. Or working with him, like, yeah, students.
Oh, father!
Hello, Susato! How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. We're so delighted you've arrived safe and sound.
Hello! It's me, Mikitoba! Hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Very kind of you to take the trouble of meeting us here.
Oh, no, not at all. It's my pleasure.
We've heard all about your extraordinary exploits here in London, you know. The news has crossed the seas.
It has?
I always look forward to reading the monthly reports that arrive from the steamships with Britain.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Who's this man? And why do I feel as though I've seen him before? And how do you keep forgetting?
I take it from your expression that you can't quite place me. In that case, how about a little reminder, Soshiro? A firm tap should do it. Yes.
A firm tap? What?
Here we go, then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, guilty!
Oh, you're... Yeah, the judge. Your Excellency!
Hello, Judge Jigoku. How are you? It's been quite the long time.
Good. You've remembered now. That really did the trick. Guilty!
Only I was declared not guilty, wasn't I? And there was no laughing at the time.
So, you're in London again after all this time. Hard to believe it's been 10 years.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. They did tell us about it earlier.
To be honest, I never thought I'd be back.
Neither did I. I didn't imagine Japan would have ever be invited to an international symposium like this.
No, really? I thought anybody did. To be honest, it's all thanks to you, isn't it? Seishiro.
What are you talking about, Eugen?
Of course, Judge G. Goku, he must complete the set. He's the other man, who 16 years ago came to London with Kazuma's father and Professor Mikotoba. He's the third visiting scholar.
Well, all those passport checks and luggage searches at the border took rather a lot of time. I must say I'm very envious on your ministerial status. You didn't have to go through any of that.
Oh, I know you were jealous.
Sorry, ministerial status?
Yeah, didn't you know? Seishiro here is also Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his personal insistence that allowed you to take Kazuma's place here on this territory.
Discharged.
Well, thank you very much. He's really every bit as important as he looks.
Ah, yes. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, I received a telegram from Lord Strongheart yesterday.
Oh, you did?
It appears that some things came to light in a trial you were involved with 8 days ago. But what happened 10 years ago? That tragedy.
Yes. Could you tell us more about it? Well, before we learn more about that, I really need to piss. I was gonna just leave on my BRB as soon as we started the new episode, but then I don't know. I just got into it. But I gotta go before I actually piss my pants. Alright, I will be right back then. Boop. Boop. Okay. See you guys soon. Yo, what up, guys? I'm back. Sorry that took a while. I had to shut up the whole house, and then I was looking for stuff, and then every single animal under the earth came to see me and asked for food. But I'll feed them all once I'm done with stream. Surely they can wait another hour. I want to be done about 6:30-ish. Okay. Let's hop into it then. Your journey from Japan. So, how was the voyage here?
Well, 50 days at sea is a long time by anyone's standards.
But it wasn't as bad as when we...
No, that's not your voice.
Wasn't as bad as when we first came 16 years ago.
No, that's true. Then I truly wondered if we wouldn't be drifting in the vast ocean for the rest of our lives. This time we followed the same route as you, so we were able to relax and enjoy the experience.
So you stopped in France's beautiful capital, Paris?
We did, yes, though only for a night. And yesterday evening we left the port of Dunkirk for Dover.
Just in time for the symposium, in fact. It starts tomorrow!
It's wonderful that you're invited to attend such an important international event. I'm very proud of you, Father.
It's thanks to Seishiro here. 16 years ago, he managed to ingratiate himself with Britain's Attorney General. I'm sure that's why he was invited, and I suppose you could say I'm something of an appendage by default.
Speak for yourself, Eugen. You were close friends with the professor of forensic science at a major hospital.
Yes, well, I'd rather not dredge all that up, really.
No, there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then, but it doesn't bring him back.
Casimir's father, I suppose. The professor, the killer who took the lives of the 5 members of the British aristocracy, was actually Casimir's father, wasn't he?
That's correct. Genshin Asogi.
Shin.
Genshin.
You knew, I presume, Father?
Yes, he was a close friend at the time.
Genshin came to Britain as a police detective. He was studying investigative techniques at Scotland Yard. I've never understood what drove the man to commit such heinous acts.
It was a close trial, so the public never knew the truth, and he was executed with little ado. To this day, very few people know what really happened, even in our homeland.
But what about Kazuma? Did he know? Did he know the truth about his dad?
No, of course not. He was told his father passed from sickness.
However, I suspect he may have had his doubts.
Oh, why?
As you know, I tried to guide Kazuma growing up, as if he were my own son. Then one day he came to my office at the university and said,
I've decided I want to travel to Great Britain and study there.
Do you think he wanted to come here to investigate his father's death?
I don't know. But when I looked into his eyes, I didn't know that there was no way I'd be able to stop him.
Something else came to light in that trial the other day, actually.
Oh? What?
Well, having disappeared in Hong Kong and been missing for almost a year, Kazuma's since turned up here in London working as the apprentice of Lord Von Zeeks.
What?
What? That's news to us.
So, Lord Strongheart's telegram neglected to mention that part then. As you know, we both thought Kazuma had died on the steamship during our voyage to Great Britain in January.
But he didn't die. He's alive! As you knew, didn't you, Father?
In actual fact, no. What I did know is that when your ship docked in Hong Kong, he mysteriously vanished.
We sent a team of investigators to Hong Kong to try and ascertain what happened, but to no avail.
But he's still alive, and here in London, you say? I never dared even to dream it.
Why on earth did the young man not make contact? The government and the police have been chasing clues fruitlessly for months now.
Well, it seems he was suffering from amnesia.
You what? Amnesia?
When we first came across him here in London, he didn't know who either of us were. I see. He only regained his memory 8 days ago.
This is unbelievable.
Yes, it's quite miraculous. I wonder why Lord Strongheart didn't let us know.
I've always said he was evil from the start!
I must speak with him urgently.
Wonder how Kazuma's been these past few days. Would it be wrong of us to go visit him?
That began 16 years ago now. It's a distant memory, really. It was Eugen here. It was Eugen here, Genshin Asogi, and myself. We were the original three. The first judicial scholars from Japan to travel overseas to study. Ocean voyages were not what they are today, I can tell you.
16 years ago. Things were tough for their generation.
Your father was an exceptionally fine medical student at Yume University at the time, you know, young lady.
Yes, grandmother told me.
He went to do research at a London hospital to study autopsy, practically unheard of in Japan.
Yes, it was an eerie place, sandwiched between the back of a prison and the burial ground.
Ugh, no more talk of graves.
Very often, there's no one willing to deal with bodies following autopsy work.
So you see, autopsy labs have something of an unavoidable relationship with graveyards and prisons.
Not my cup of tea at all.
Do you remember that the Scottish governor, Caden his name was, he was a good man.
Yes, but then of course, in our 6th year here, everything changed with that dreadful case. When Genshin was arrested, for the series of gruesome murders.
I simply couldn't believe it. I've known the man for years.
I was witness at the secret hearing and I tried to speak in his defense, but...
But you went a little too far and ended up facing charges yourself, didn't you?
Well, suffice it to say that after the trial, we were sent back to Japan.
I wonder if it could have possibly been a wrong conviction. I wonder if it was wrongful. Did he actually do that stuff? Or who knows? I guess we'll see. I don't know.
There was nothing more we could do to save Genshin. He was a lost cause, sadly. Well, if you'll excuse us now.
Yes, I'd like to get this trunk up to my room as soon as possible.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have held you here for so long. You know, them revealing who the prisoner was this early, there's definitely a lot more to the story we don't know. So, the possibility he was actually innocent is there.
I'll call for the porter then. Just wait here.
Well, Susato-san's gone off at a run.
I'd like to stay and talk more, but I have various preparations to make for tomorrow.
Oh, yes, of course. It must be a big responsibility representing our entire country. I wish you the best of luck.
Naruhodo, I hope you'll keep an eye on Susato for me. Keep looking after her as you obviously have been.
Oh, no, I mean, if anyone's looking after anyone, it's her looking after me.
Well, I do appreciate you being there for her. After all, I've been a miserable father to her. I've thoroughly let her down.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Well, it was 16 years ago that I started my long study tour here in Britain, as you know. The very year Susato-san was born. Oh, yeah, I've heard. The birth of my daughter was the most joyous event of my life, but... well, sadly, it was accompanied by the most tragic event of my life, too. Oh, yeah. Well, I can probably take a fucking guess. I think it's a pretty safe guess, too, that Susato's mom maybe died during childbirth. I think that's the only real idea I could have, unless she was murdered or something happened to her or she left. I don't know. But it was a reason Susato was with her grandmother and not her mother. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details. The point is, I became rather less dependable than befits a grown man. Oh, yep, that seems right. And it was then that the Seishiro offered me the opportunity to study here in Great Britain.
I was too worried about you to leave you behind, so perhaps I was a little heavy-handed when it came to persuading you to accompany me to London.
So, that's what happened in a nutshell. And that's also the reason why I now feel compelled to give my daughter as many opportunities as I dare. Though the world does not readily afford young women such things, I must say. I completely understand, Professor. Ah, one other thing, Naruhodo. If I may be so bold, I have a favor to ask of you. Oh, really? Of course, what can I do for you? Well, the thing is, I'm sorry that took so long. Hey, I know you. Juror number 5, right? Or 4? It was 4 or 5. 4 or 5, you know. Miss Susato. Now then, allow us to take your bags.
Allow me to take your bags.
One moment, if you please, Porter.
Yeah, of course, sir.
Get the machine around your neck. It's a camera, I believe.
Oh, quite right, sir. Just 5 shillings for a lovely photograph to commemorate a wonderful stay at the hotel, sir.
Well, I think given the occasion, we could justify the expense. Well, it seems like Mr. Mario's getting ready to die here. I don't know. He was talking about, oh, we keep looking after Susato-san, and I've got one more favor to ask you.
Oh, yes, of course.
Come on, Naruhodo, you couldn't smile.
I'd like to thank you for coming with me, Mr. Naruhodo. It's really made Father very happy, I think.
Oh, well, I'm pleased then. But we were interrupted before. Professor Mikotoba was about to ask me something.
Shall we return to Baker Street then? I expect Iris will have some delicious tea waiting for us.
Yeah, let's go. I'm more and more anxious about Cosmo, though. Perhaps I'll try to meet with Lord Strongheart later and ask after him. Perhaps we'll do that right now! If he's here. Oh, yep.
Here's the final draft of the opening address for tomorrow's proceedings. I've supplemented your original with the figures you asked for from the yard. I see. Excellent work. Thank you. You're welcome, my lord.
What's Lord Van Zeek's doing here?
My, there seems to be an awful lot of tension in the air, wouldn't you say?
This place is stifling as it is. You really don't need any more tension.
My apologies, I didn't notice you come in. Your small stature and dark dress made you all but invisible to me.
Oh, no, it's entirely my fault for wearing black, I'm sure.
From now on, you must dress in white from head to toe whenever you come here.
Now then, Mr. Naruhodo, Yes, my lord, I'm right here.
Kill me now.
Something wrong? Perhaps it's a little too hot in here for you.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I've never experienced a room at such a perfect temperature.
If you're sure, the beads of sweat carving their way down your face seem to suggest otherwise.
Because of the daggers you're staring at me with, mainly.
As you're no doubt aware, my International Forensic Science Symposium begins tomorrow. In fact, your father arrived in London earlier today, I hear, madam.
Oh, yes, that's right, my lord. He's extremely honored to have been invited.
I'll leave the remaining preparations for the meeting room in your capable hands, then, Lord Van Zieks. I will attend at once.
He gave you a very cold stare as he left, didn't he?
I know, but I haven't done anything, have I?
These past few days, my feet barely touched the ground, I must say. My dedicated right hand of many years was recently put out of action in spectacular fashion.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Is your left hand still of service?
Mr. Naruhodo, he's talking about Dr. Scythe.
Oh, of course. I'm terribly sorry about that. I was just,
Fear not, you've done nothing wrong. Dr. Scythe's own wrongdoing precipitated the situation. Precipitated? You didn't concern yourself with it any further.
That'd be a lot easier to do if it weren't for the piercing stare you're giving me.
Lord Van Zieks is doing an admirable job of holding down the fort. Though disturbingly, his apprentice has been missing since yesterday.
Oh, missing?
What's become of Kazuma-sama now?
About Lord Von Zieks' apprentice.
Ah, yes, that came as a surprise to me, I must say, that you and he are old friends.
How did you become an apprentice to Lord Van Zieks in the first place?
It came about 3 months ago. An unidentified Asian man was apprehended by border police. They found him hiding aboard a large goods vessel.
Oh my, so he stowed away to get here.
He had no papers to identify him, no passport, and he was suffering from amnesia as well. Other than the fact he was clearly of Eastern descent, there was no clues as to who he was. So I decided to assign him to Lord Van Zieks. That way I could keep an eye on him.
But then why the mask?
I didn't want to burden Lord Van Zieks with tiresome explanations about why he had an Eastern appearance.
Because it would be much easier to explain why he was wearing a mask.
He's proving to be a great help to Lord Van Zieks. I have high hopes for his future.
By the way, do you know where he's gone?
No idea, but I believe he's left London for the time being.
Oh.
I take it you also didn't know? That the man's father was one of our country's most infamous criminals, I mean?
Genshin Asogi. Go back up. We'll do this now.
Not long ago, visitor numbers to the Great Exhibition exceeded 30 million.
30 million? Are there even that many people in the world? Well, you know what? I am curious. How many people were in the world in 1900? I'm sure it was probably still billions, but I am curious because what, we're at like 7-8 billion now, or something along those lines. What was the population in 1900?
The population of various regions in 1900 was approximately, world, around 1.6 to 1.7 billion people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, damn. Barely cracking 2 bill. We've really been busy, haven't we?
As a comparison, Mr. Naruhodo, the population of the imperial capital Tokyo is 2 million.
I will be opening the International Forensic Science Symposium in the exhibition's main auditorium. This event has been 2 years in the making. 2 years of preparations, negotiations with other countries.
That sounds like a tremendous achievement. Congratulations.
The 20th century will see the wholesale adoption of forensic investigation techniques, and cooperation between policing organizations around the globe will be essential. Which is why This landmark first symposium had to be hosted here at the heart of our great British Empire. In order that Scotland Yard can become the leading investigative organization in the New World.
It's the same as ever, I see. That passion of his is quite something.
You're every bit as passionate in your own way, I'm sure, Mr. Naruhodo.
I'm the only person in this country who truly cares about the future that embraces forensic science. It was my intention to become Her Majesty's Attorney General and reform the Yard from the ground up. So the disgrace of the forensic investigation team has been a bitter blow to my ambitions. I first established the forensic investigation team a year ago, experimentally to start with. With Dr. Scythe at the helm, it was steadily accruing an impressive record of achievement. It was on the verge of changing its name and elevating its status to a full-blown forensic investigation department.
And can you not do that now?
Obviously, nobody wants to hear anything about it at the moment. And I can't keep the story out of the papers. 6 million Londoners will be cursing forensic science now. This incident will set back our country's advancement in the field by a good 10 years, I'd say.
Unintended repercussions of that trial.
We simply couldn't have overlooked what happened, though.
Of course not. We should all be grateful to you both. Anyway, I'll still reform this country's policing when I become Attorney General. This might delay my plans, but it won't alter them. Nothing will stand in my way.
Yeah, that's not evil talk at all. Like, it's a very noble cause, of course. Forensic science is obviously the future, but, yeah, you know, what's he willing to do to get there? I'm not sure. Was it really ignorance? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Was it truly an ignorance that stopped him? I don't know.
What we learned from that trial 8 days ago was a huge shock, finding out my friend's father was...
Ah, yes, Kitchener Sogia. The Professor case 10 years ago caused a great stir here in Britain.
They were such awful murders, and unprecedented, using a ferocious dog as a murder weapon.
And no one would have believed the culprit was a foreign student invited here to study by the government. So the true identity of the killer couldn't be made public then, and can't be made public now. Nobody in your country knows it was him, and neither do the citizens of London.
The main motivation was to avoid aggravating relations between our two nations at the time. I understand.
Correct. However, it is to be noted there were some supporters of the Professor's apparent cause.
What supporters of a mass murderer?
Well, the majority of the man's victims were a blight on the aristocracy of the day. Somewhat ironically, their deaths actually benefited society as a whole. You saw a fair few thinkers in London believed anyway.
Right, I see. But it was still murder, wasn't it?
It seems very familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, strikingly familiar to something we know all too well of. So it wouldn't be a complete crazy outcry to think that the Reaper and the Professor are one and the same. Or at least one's inspired by the other, or somewhat, some forth.
To the idea of the Reaper of the Bailey.
Oh, there we go. Well, we'll be on our way now. Thank you. Kazuma's mask? Is he here? What? What was that?
A man screaming in a most unflattering way. Do you think...
Could it have been Mr. Sholmes?
Oh my, I do hope not.
Who are you two?
I don't do it anymore. Mon ami, stop this disgraceful display, huh?
Who are these people? Look at their hair, it's bright red. Oh yeah, all of the gingers are coming into play. I'm ginger myself, so, you know. Not that bright red, though.
I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Right, you two, you're coming with me now. Down to the clink. No, not it, President. It's dark. And Sam, I don't like it. Oof, the darkness is my friend. I am not scared. But you're always scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot. I will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist. I don't like this. I don't like it. Oh, tough. We'll finish this down at the yard. Now get moving. Bye then, Ginny. Have fun. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Iris. And thanks, you great detective. Gina makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Ah, Susie Runo!
Hey, Iris, we're home.
Well, did you find your daddy? Oh, yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Ah, well, that's great news. I hope I'll get to see my daddy again soon.
I'm sure you will, definitely.
Yes, of course.
You know, keeping this from her is gonna cause some problems later down the line, right? Might blame us.
So, Iris, all that remains now is that greatest of problems known to man.
Okay, he's dyed his hair. That's not a bad look. It's a nice bit of color.
But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea's in order, don't you, my dear fellows? Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face?
Not so much on your face as on your head, I'd say.
Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever is going on here today?
In that case, let us sit and drink. For I am, in fact, expecting a guest later today.
Ahem. The lie you told. We're not even gonna mention the hair?
Mr. Sholmes, who were the two gentlemen that were here before?
Oh, just a pair of petty criminals. Nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions.
When the mood takes you?
All manner of infractions?
But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Sherlock Holmes, well, that's when their luck runs out.
Oh my, you were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes?
But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally.
I should have asked Craigsy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party.
I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consummately in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Ah, I have it! A bungler, that's the word.
It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. Those redheads were up to no good.
I wonder what the men did.
What was that about the greatest problems known to man that you mentioned before?
Is it another fiendishly intricate case, Mr. Sholmes?
How should I best explain it? Are you aware of the theory of evolution by natural selection, perchance?
Well, I think I've heard talk of it somewhere. Possibly.
It's a revolutionary scientific theory that was newly proposed only 40 years ago now. According to its author, Mr. Darwin, we animals were once ape. We humans were once apes who lived on the treetops.
Wait, what? We were apes? Indeed, and from the very moment those apes descended from the canopy to live as humans, it has been our lot to be at the mercy of the greatest problem known to man.
Our lot? What's the great problem, Mr. Sholmes?
Why, is it not obvious, my dear madam? The problem of rent!
But did you not receive a rather large sum of money from Madame Tusples only the other day?
Pshaw, a large sum? One potted herb for Iris and a new motor car for me later, and it's all quite disappeared, I assure you.
Honestly, Early, you know you squandered it.
Yes, well, anyway, 2 days ago, I discovered the answer to man's greatest problem. For the coming month at least.
Yeah, these guys should be, like, super rich, but he just spends it on random shit. But, you know, that's him.
What was the answer? Why, there's a substantial clue before your very eyes.
Don't tell me. Let me see.
Humans are so sorry creatures, unable to see what is right in front of their noses. Let me give you some assistance. Don't look, but observe me very closely.
Yeah, we noticed.
There's one particular feature about my person that has changed. You should notice it in the end, I think.
It would be funny if it's not his hair color and he's referring to something else. His fucking belt buckle's slightly different or something. In the end. It's been stabbing me in both eyes right from the very beginning of our conversation.
I think we might need another clue before we uncover the full answer, Mr. Naruhodo.
Thanks for the hint, but I'll be tearing my hair out if this charade goes on any longer. The charade? The lie you told is about the hair? No, it's about Cosmo. Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago, you said to us... That case aboard the SS Burya in January. Cosmo wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So what was really going on?
The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew.
But how?
Well, after they'd carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse.
Oh, how horrible.
It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course.
But why? Why do it in the first place?
I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you. I didn't foresee subsequent events.
What events?
His disappearance in Hong Kong.
Oh.
I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment.
Mr. Sholmes. Well. Making our way slowly up. No. Where do we go now? We don't really have evidence, do we? Unless it wants me to inspect his hair? The mask Cosmo wore when he was assigned to Lord Van Zeek's as his apprentice. When he cast it aside after the trial the other day, I sort of picked it up.
We ought to give it back to him, I suppose.
He has his memory back now, doesn't he? I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me coldly to wear it myself.
But isn't he your best friend?
There's pretty little tea set is set up as beautifully as ever. Look.
Well, it's only by carefully taking care of a tea set that you can make good tea.
Is that a roundabout way of telling me I need to tidy my desk?
Oh, my Naruhodo, you do overthink things at times. This looks like last week's edition.
What's that article circled in red ink there?
It's an advertisement column. It says, "To the Red-Headed League."
Ah. The Red-Headed League? What's that? Oh god, the gingers are rising up. South Park was right!
I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but...
Is something on my face?
Clearly this has something to do with that lively hair. Alright, well, let's look at it. To the Red-Headed League. On account of the bequest of the late Ezekiel Hopkins of Lebanon, PAUSA, there is now another vacancy open which entitles a member of the League to a salary of £4 a week for purely nominal services. All red-headed men who are sound in body and mind above the age of 21 years are eligible. Apply in person on the morning of the 31st at the large park on Lime Street. I can do that! Get £4 a week if you're a redhead. I can do that. I would like £4 a week. That's probably like fucking, I don't know, like $10, but hey, $10 is $10. Hey Google, how much is £4 from the 1900s in New Zealand dollars modern day?
It's fascinating to consider the value of money across such a long time. However, directly converting £4 from the 1900s to modern New Zealand dollars is...
Can we have just the answer, please, if that's possible?
A precise single answer isn't really possible due to the complexities of currency change.
An estimation then, jackass.
Okay, if we're going for a very, very rough estimation...
Somewhere in the ballpark of 500 to 1,500 New Zealand dollars. Well, if anybody needs a redhead, I'm your guy, okay? For just a measly $1,500 per week, I will be your redhead, all right? It's a steal. It's a steal, honestly. Oh, yeah. It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes.
To the Red-Headed League? Does that strike you in some way?
I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair.
So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry?
In the first instance, and quite indispensable observation.
Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut.
So then, allow me to regale you with the tales of my latest exploits.
Regale or boast? So what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you've circled?
You noticed it in the paper, then? That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment.
It was? How?
Well, according to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of the unspecified governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair.
That doesn't entirely surprise me.
But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. an unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week?
But why? What are they paying people for?
That I don't know. The details are given in. No details are given in the advertisement.
But surely every red-headed person in the country would be flocking to join that in case. You're right, Susie. There's no time to lose. I'll put my application in at once. So will I just on the off chance.
That might be stretching your point, I think. Well, it seemed, well, you know, Iris, I could see maybe counting since she has pink hair. Pink is kind of an offshoot of red, you know? Like red with a little bit of white mixed in. Yeah, I could see that. But, I mean, Susato, your hair is pure black. And, I mean, Mr. Shobe's hair was blonde, so, you know. Oh, I see. So, once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can.
But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away.
It wasn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes.
So you decided to try join in his place?
Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow?
No.
So why did it have to go so wrong?
What on earth happened?
A blunder, Mr. Naruhodo, though it pains me to admit it.
What happened, bro? What did you do? What did you do? Did they figure out you died? You know, with a Y.
What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes?
I'm glad you asked, Miss Susato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor a hairpiece.
Okay.
I changed the color of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry.
Chemistry?
I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves. And in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one's hair aflame like red. Would you like to try it? It will make your every hair on your body perfectly crimson.
I think I'll pass.
But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it?
Amateurs are always hampered by such fears.
Oh, I should have never doubted you, Mr. Sholmes, you mean to say?
But of course! To earn £4 a week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger.
That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely.
So anyway, Ellie left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Lime Street with the Red-Headed League were interviewing prospective new members.
So what went wrong?
The whole park was choked with red-headed folk like the coaster's orange barrow. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. But when the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation? So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, Shh, don't give me away. After which I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned that parent to the police.
Oh dear, what a disaster. For Hurley and those two redheads.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling.
Here's my guest now. My latest client, with money to spend.
Oh, I do hope it's an exciting case, Hurley.
Remember, Iris, we're at present gripped by the greatest problem known to man. Rent. I must be willing to accept any case, no matter how unstimulating. Save locating a runaway, of course.
Don't spare anyone's feelings, will you?
Oh dear, I'm afraid that Hurley can lack a little tact, especially just before the rent is due.
Oh, it's you! Miss Honkers, I mean Miss Juror number 2. Of course.
Mr. Sholmes! Oh, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes! Oh, please. Please find my husband! He's run away!
No, thank you! To upset me, Oh, ye rent! God damn your rent!
I beg your pardon?
Never mind the personal matter. My apologies. What exactly are you trying to say, Mr. Naruhodo? I didn't say anything. Oh, you're saying you want to help me on this endeavor? To be my little, assistant, as it were? Well, I would be glad to accept you. It is mighty boring.
Did I get my Switch 2 pre-order in? Dude, I got my Switch 2 pre-order in on the day of the Direct. The New Zealand pre-orders went up the day after, so I got mine in instantly. I've got the Switch 2, all the accessories, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, Metroid Prime 4. All done. Only the Americans had to wait till yesterday, so. Did you guys get your pre-order? I don't know. And apparently there was a lot of website problems that you guys were dealing with. I watched Arlo's video on it today. We didn't have that here. It instantly worked for me as soon as I woke up and bought it on the, after the day of the Direct. I'm golden.
I didn't say a word. I didn't say a word. Come, my dear madam, be seated. Iris, some tea, if you would, please.
Of course.
What's the matter, Miss Susato?
Oh, it's just that gentlewoman. I feel sure I've seen her somewhere before, very recently.
Yes, now you come to mention it.
As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil. I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure.
Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, madam. Rent. Anyways, being offered a case to solve is reward enough.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're the picture of benevolence.
I will, of course, make a mental note of your offer, however, for, contingent reasons. I trust you will remember your words also.
If I might inquire, sir. This gentleman and lady would be...
Oh, me?
What I'm about to tell you, I should like to communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand?
Ha! These are my friends. I assure you, you may say before this pair anything which you may say to me.
I see. I can vouch for the
Gentleman personally, after all. The gentle lady, maybe not so much. I don't really know about this Miss Susato character. She's a little bit suspicious, if you ask me. I think she's the Reaper, if you ask me, yes. I've got a hunch. Call it just a, great detective's deduction, yes. You see, I've never seen them in the same room. He's hard of hearing.
Why did he ever get my hopes up? Mrs. Vigil? Mr. Vigil? Your husband's disappearance. Forgive me for asking, Mrs. Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps?
Oh, why?
Pshaw, my dear fellow. What's your intention? Are you intending to get with the recently made widow? Because that's what I was going to do. Have you seen the size of her, beautiful eyes? Clearly, you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite the lady to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion.
Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week?
Ah, I knew I recognized her.
I mean, how could you forget?
Sorry. I didn't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now.
It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer, being hard of hearing, I mean.
Pardon?
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was frippery, really, nothing more.
Now look at what you started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much.
I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner.
Yes. Why did you say yes to that?
Tell us about your husband, madam.
Mr. Vigil, my daily, is 40 years of age. I have a photograph here.
Damn, he's 40?
An entirely unremarkable gentleman, by appearance at least. I am much more handsome than him, and much more, let's say, young. Yes.
How old is she? Oh, 36. Okay, they're very close in age now.
How long have you been married?
It will be 15 years this year.
Dang.
We have a cordial relationship, and my husband's income is more than adequate, so we live quite comfortably.
As it would appear, I need only look at you to know these things.
Oh, gosh.
Your dress is the latest style, your hat clearly regularly groomed, and your eyes are animated. In short, you have no inkling to why your husband might have disappeared, correct?
That's right. He's a kind man with a strong sense of loyalty, and he rather dotes on me.
Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident or other.
Oh, that's exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will?
What exactly is your husband's line of work?
He's a warder at a prison.
A guard? That is somewhat unusual.
So, your husband is a prison warder?
That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he's the chief warder.
Indeed, I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation.
Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments and see that they're carried out.
Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital punishments? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't like the sound of that. That might have something to do with the professor.
At such times he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. But for that extra responsibility he is remunerated with even more handsomely than the other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to the neighbours.
Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged?
Yep, Barclay, of course.
Really? Barclay? No, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there's a large cemetery just behind it.
Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery.
No. Lowgate Cemetery. The very place we were discussing in court. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable, my dear fellow. And yet undeniable.
Stop reading my mind!
Oh, please. I'm the one who should be able to read your mind, not Miss Susato. It's quite an irregularity that she can read your eyes like I can. Of course, I'm a great detective. It's very easy for me to check your stature and the fidgeting of your fingers and the sweat down your brow. It's very simple to see what you're thinking.
Sorry, Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid you've lost me.
Ah, pay no heed, madam. Pay no heed. A private matter.
This can't really be a coincidence, can it?
So, to the matter of your husband's disappearance, when did you realize he was missing?
Please try not to laugh. It was yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yesterday?
That really is recent. Affably so.
Truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. It's not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return at home at night, but this is different. Well, not to even make contact for a whole day. That has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly, what could have happened?
My dear Miss Vigil, please, calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police?
Why, naturally, but sadly, they refused to listen to my pleas as my husband has only been missing for 1 day. I was asked to wait patiently at home.
In truth, Miss Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. For the rent is due, and I, the great detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, am at a very substantial loss as my red-headed scheme did not come through. So, we will look for this man, me and my buddy here, my hard-of-hearing, stupendous lawyer friend, and we will find your husband. But I do pray tell, this is an ace-attorney game, so most likely he is dead. Or a villain. Just thought I'd let you know. Maybe, if you're lucky, he's the defendant. But only maybe. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sholmes.
And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. The rent has no bearing on this thing that we are doing right now. I seek only to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it.
You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention.
Anything?
I seek only to put this sweet's rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it.
Thank you for everything you've shared with us, Mrs. Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation.
Oh, please report to me as soon as you have the good news, sir.
Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I'm quite sure.
So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes.
Good news should be delivered early, I always say. If you would be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door.
I can't thank you enough, Mr. Sholmes. You've been simply marvelous.
I have a feeling that Mr. Vigil is the one who shot the professor. Because I'm guessing he was all ready to execute him, and then, due to some mishappenings, he was able to get away, and the whole little scheme was to be planned out where he could escape. And I think he came back with the gun and, you know, did a little bang bang. Maybe, possibly. Because we still don't really have many suspects for that, whoever did that. But I think Mr. Vigil, who was a guard, the head guard, in charge of, you know, dealing out punishments, namely probably death, you know, executioner style.
You know, I think it every time, Hurley. But how do you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two? Are you sure?
Well, I can't be as sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good woman some hope. I hope to be able to give her the good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of the day tomorrow. If by that time I've successfully located Mr. Vigil, we shall be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo?
Don't look at me with those bleeding eyes.
Well, my dear fellows, did you hear the details of the case?
Yeah, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually.
Excellent! And what did you make of it?
Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean.
Ah, so you noted that? You didn't notice when I winked at you, did you? That was for you, by the way. Not Susato, not Iris, but you, my dear friend.
Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery.
Oh, yes. What's the time? Whew, I gotta get going. You know what? That's a perfect place to stop. I just wanted to get that lady out of the way. Alright. So, next time on The Great Ace Attorney 2, we will tackle Episode 4, Twisted Carmena's Last Bow, and we will see what the goings-on are goings-on. This is obviously going to lead into the final case of the game, so, you know, there's going to be some crazy revelations, I'm sure. Big Boss at its peak. I'm ready for some crazy shit to go down. Even more crazy shit than we already had today. So thank you, Kakaiden, Protein, Big Boss, Cumcat, everybody for coming in, tuning in, watching. I will see you all later, next week, in 2 days. And then we'll be back with more Great Ace Attorney 2, and hopefully a new game as well. We definitely gotta pull out another game to at least substantiate us until May 8th, because that's when the next game, I guess it's not a big game, but that's the next one that I want to stream. Bye-bye, everybody. I will see you later.